Sports Center.
What is next for the Dallas Cowboys after their embarrassing exit in the first round against the 7th-seeded Green Bay Packers? No word on that's Mike McCarthy's future. Yep, defensive coordinator Dan Quinn has been requested by the Seahawks and several other teams. Houston Texans going to face the top-seeded Ravens in Baltimore this Saturday, 3:30 after crushing Cleveland over the weekend. And Victor Wembanyama's going to the All-Star game.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Well, I'm surprised you're here.
I almost called in cold.
Now, if, a lot of people around here did that.
Damn weatherman wrong again. There's no ice.
No ice.
The body is cold on the Dallas Cowboys. Little postmortem, if you will.
Here we go.
Here we go again with another playoff Prescott performance. And if you've listened to this show long enough, playoff Prescott is not a good thing. That is not a compliment. It was disgusting. Just being in that building was disgusting. The only bright spot, if you will, besides my plane being one of the few that didn't get canceled coming back or flying out of Dallas, you had an entire halftime, second half to take in the fact that this great season was over once again. Another great regular season with playoff disappointment. The pissed offness that was building from halftime on. It was insane. And look, the weather sucked. It was brutal outside in Dallas. And I'm not a leave early kind of guy. I'm not. But with those weather conditions, the number of people that were leaving in droves in that third quarter
had nothing to do with the weather.
Oh, it did. It was like, I'm not sitting in this. I'm getting the hell out of here while I can still catch an Uber.
Dude,
or I'm getting out of here so I'm not sitting in traffic.
It could have been
those morons that paid, $70 to park on the other side of the baseball stadium that had that long-ass walk. Let's get that over with.
It could have been 80 degrees and sunny skies, and those people would have left in the third quarter. I mean, that performance they should have been booing.
Oh, they were.
Cowboys team.
Oh, they were.
It was ridiculous.
It was what I find interesting in the first half when it was sort of still maybe a game.
When was that? At kickoff?
Well, I mean, in the first half. I mean, there were some moments there.
Uh-huh.
And look, Dak Prescott deserves every bit of crap he's going to get because another big game and he comes up small. But the booing started with the pathetic defensive effort. The fact that they've got, 6 defensive backs and Green Bay's running the ball down their throat. They couldn't get off the field. And credit Green Bay. They had a great plan, and Jordan Love was phenomenal. But that Dallas defense was awful. And then Dak Prescott couldn't get off the mat. And that's the problem with this Dallas Cowboys team.
It was 27-0 at one time.
Well, at one time it was 7-0. And then at one time, Joe, it was 14-0. We can all add.
Dude, and that's fine. And I could see where a Cowboy fan would be a little irate today.
Bring it on, brother.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Yeah, okay.
What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. That's the Dallas Cowboys. You've got a quarterback that can't win in the playoffs. You've got a head coach that was brought in to win in the playoffs. He can't win in the playoffs. You've got a defense that was billed as historic, could be, at the beginning of the year that just, was horrible when it came time to crunch time. The Dan Quinn, the king of defense.
Yeah.
That guy was played by Matt LaFleur like a fiddle. Completely. And it just, but I love Cowboy fan. That's because that happens every single year. Did I say last year, all the arrogant Cowboy fans that were coming out of the woodwork last year. The Green Bay Packers, no problem. Let's bet, Joe. Let's do this. They're going to roll them. And, they did roll them, although it was the Green Bay Packers doing the rolling.
The idea, in all honesty, what we saw on Sunday was a surprise, yet not unexpected, because we've seen that movie before from the Dallas Cowboys. Did we think this would be different? And you ask, the definition of insanity. Every fan base, unless you're the one holding up the trophy, your season ends in disappointment, right? I mean, that's what comes down to. This Cowboys team, I thought, was built differently with a great defense that back in Oxnard had a chance to be historically great. They fell way short of expectations, and in the big moment, they were awful. I mean, that defense was just god awful. But the Cowboys, I thought this Cowboys team, because Dak Prescott is what he is, right? And you go back to what I said last year and the year before. He's a great regular season quarterback, but your ceiling with Dak. Dak isn't carrying this team. He won't always lose the game for you, but if you've got to rely on Dak to be the guy picking things up to carry you, that's not his MO. He has proven that. So this team, I thought, was built, we'll have a great defense, play with the lead. How do we win with Dak? And I thought the Cowboys this year, with that defense, had a plan to win with Dak as their quarterback. But when things aren't going well on the other side of the ball, the defensive side, that offense, led by number 4, isn't getting it done. And that was on full display Sunday at Jerry World.
Cowboys are front runners. That's exactly what they are.
Yep.
They can't come from behind. So that's their issue. That's their problem. If they get a lead, then that defense can do what it supposedly does, but they're front runners. If they fall behind, they can't respond. And that's the problem.
They're not a tough team. And if you get punched in the mouth, they don't respond. And we said that a couple of years ago when San Francisco went into that stadium and embarrassed the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. By the way, another head coach that was on Dan Quinn's staff.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn's never beaten one of his former staff members there in Atlanta. Hasn't done it yet. The idea, though, that they weren't tough enough, they had to get tougher. And you talk about, you just said it. The Cowboys have to play with the lead. Green Bay elected to go on offense first.
They did.
Their idea was, we're going to go down and score because this team can't play from behind.
That's exactly what they did.
Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn were so outcoached in that game, it wasn't funny. The idea that the pressure, and we talked about this some last week, the pressure on the Dallas Cowboys, they faced more pressure than any other team in the postseason.
Yep.
And they couldn't handle the pressure. And again, I am not defending Dak Prescott at all. But CeeDee Lamb had 2 big drops in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys, on passes that should have been caught. That first interception I thought was a bad route by Cooks. The second interception, I'm sitting in the end zone, and almost like I'm calling a high school game, you see the snap and you see where he's looking, and I'm screaming things that I can't really say on the radio right now because you could see it was a pick six coming all the way. And there goes any hope of some sort of crazy comeback.
Well, to Dak's defense there, and believe it or not, I'll defend him. When your wide receiver cries every time he doesn't get the football, you're going to try to force it into him, and that's what it did. Hey, look, Dak threw it to there was one horrible play by CeeDee Lamb, and he was trying to blame Dak. Dak was blaming him. They were, kind of mouthing with each other on the sidelines. We're going to get into this. There's a lot to talk about here and a lot to digest. First of all, look, they played scared. The Cowboys played not to lose instead of playing to win the game. That's a problem. You can't do that. And I'm not the only one saying that. Marcus Spears said that. Brian Baldinger said it. You got numerous ex-football players that are saying the same thing. The Cowboys looked like they were afraid to lose. The pressure on them not to lose that game was too much, and they just couldn't handle it. And they played scared.
They did. And, playing scared. What I don't understand as a team, and I know that they're professional athletes, they know what's at stake. You shouldn't need a coach to get you motivated for a game like this. But explain to me how an entire team can come out flat and seemingly uninspired in a game that big. And honestly, it felt that way from the opening kickoff. It felt that way to a degree in pregame warmups. It was a very strange game day experience because of the non-degree weather, right? I mean, honestly, I land, go get in the Uber, and we go straight to the stadium. And I've been to a lot of games, and there were some people tailgating, but not many, right? Everybody, they got inside as soon as you could open the doors, right? I mean, I get out and I walk right inside. Nobody's walking around outside. It was stupid cold, right? So you get in, and the pregame crowd, hour and a half before kickoff, the energy was there from the crowd. I mean, like, people were in their seats early, which never happens because, there's so much fun going on outside. Yet watching the team warm up, it just didn't feel right, right? There was something that just didn't add up. And then, of course, the game starts, and, defense, you get the penalty, drive stays alive, they go down and score. And immediately like that, inside the stadium, all the air was gone, all the excitement. It never felt like a playoff atmosphere after that initial drive by the Green Bay Packers. The team was flat, the crowd, it was just a weird game day experience.
Well, and that's unfortunate, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But what I do know is the fact that I think the Cowboys were just like everybody else. Green Bay Packers are coming here. We don't lose at home. No problem. They're going to fold because we're the big, bad Dallas Cowboys, and that's just the way it is. The worst thing that might have happened to Dallas was they didn't get beat by Detroit because they come in as a number 2 seed instead of either the 3 or the 5 and thinking, hey, we're home. We don't lose here. No problem. And that's how they play.
And they had a bad plan. They had a bad plan defensively. I don't know how their offensive plan was because their offensive plan went out the window pretty early in the game. But I know Dak didn't look sharp early. His receivers were dropping passes. Although Michael Gallup, welcome to the season. It's now over.
And you're probably going to be somewhere else next year. That's maybe. Best player on the field for the offense was Jake Ferguson. I mean, let's admit it. That dude was a beast. I mean, he was the only one.
He was. Him or Tyler Biadasz. I mean,
Tyler Biadasz, yeah, whatever.
He didn't screw up a snap.
Jake Ferguson was the best player on the offensive side of the football. Somebody debate me on that because you can't.
I mean,
he was.
I mean, yeah. In a pile of bad. If you're looking for the bright spot,
that's it.
Go with your guy Ferguson.
Absolutely.
I mean, you are
3
president.
Touchdowns, I think, right?
You are president of his fan club, right?
3 touchdowns for Fergie.
I know you guys want to get it off your chest. We're here for you.
Yes.
If you remember the old Frasier TV show, we're listening. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Your calls as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Stevens Roofing. Hey, this cold weather and all the stuff that's happened, I tell you what, it's been a crazy weekend, has it not? And it's just going to get more and more. There's another cold front coming in with rain this weekend. You want to make sure that your roof can handle everything there is that Mother Nature's going to throw at it. And Stevens Roofing is the name to call because they stand out high above the rest. A quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing means comfort. It means confidence. It means peace of mind. It's protection for all of those things that you love. And while the weather's going to heat up a little bit, be a great time to give Stevens Roofing a call. Let them get out there and check your roof. 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. When you're in the market for repairs or replacement roof, an upgrade, you want to work with an experienced team that brings local roots, value, and a vast knowledge of the craft to every job. That is Stevens Roofing. Give them a call today. Schedule an inspection, 210-785-0994, or online at stevensroofing.net.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, I got a message for you that's going to change your dental game in about 60 seconds. Are you fed up with the old dental routine? Those endless trips to the dentist, dealing with missing teeth and temporary fixes that, well, never seem to stick. Well, buckle up because I've got the answer. Doctor's Implants. You know, at Doctor's Implants, their board-certified oral and facial surgeons are ready to transform your smile. You can say goodbye to the frustration of traditional dentistry and welcome a brighter future. Don't let old school dentistry hold you back any longer. Embrace your future with full mouth dental implants at Doctor's Implants. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com. And here's the kicker. When you call them at 210-640-0000, tell them Joe Reinigle from the Blitz sent you, and you're going to snag a complimentary consultation and a CT scan. That's right. Your journey to a perfect smile begins at Doctor's Implants. Call them today, 210-640-0000.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine what could relief from IBS-C mean for you. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FREE for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FREE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FREE for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Check out the Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
If you're San Antonio, there are benefits that come along with it. I will cut you the front of the line. We're going to hike the return.
On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
James Pledger's having way too much fun on this Tuesday.
Nice. Well, his Texans won.
Yeah, they did.
Not only did they win, they roasted Cleveland.
They did.
Wow.
Dude, that was impressive.
It was.
As impressive as C.J. Stroud and the Texans were, as much as that was a surprise, not that they won, but in the fashion they did.
Yep.
I think the same stunner we saw in Dallas, if you're a Green Bay fan, you didn't see that coming from Jordan Love. I mean,
nobody did.
Jordan Love was incredible the other day.
He's been incredible the second half of the season. The guy's been playing well.
But I don't know that we thought you would see that. He's not played a better game than what he did against Dan Quinn's practice defense.
Got a great future. There's no doubt.
And I don't want it to get too lost on us that, at some point credit Green Bay. They came in with a great plan and they executed it. But it is more about what Dallas didn't do. And the only thing consistent with the Cowboys, and I'm still a fan, will always be a fan, even though they piss you off half the time. Now 5-13 in the playoffs since 1996. And they are now 8 times one and done in the postseason.
Wow.
8 times.
How about that?
One and done in the postseason. And look, I mean, Cowboy fans, Cowboy haters. I mean, Michael Irvin, he gets up on his porch and probably the balcony of his hotel in L.A. And he says, blow the whole damn thing up.
Every damn where, all across this country, all across the league, they stood up to defend their city and defend their team, except in the city that deserved it the most, except the team that's most recognizable and deserved it the most. What do you do when all you have don't understand what they have? When I got here, I understood the men before me. They built the Dallas Cowboys. They made this America's team. They put a championship on the table before I got here. My job while I was here is to match what they have done because they built it. They handed it to me. Put my damn championship on the table. That's all we ask. Put your damn championship on the table, and you couldn't do it. All their asses gotta go.
I wasn't sure where he was going with that when I started watching it, but it's Michael, so I figure it's going somewhere. And, I mean, quite honestly, Michael might be the best part of a Cowboys home game, the motivational messages that he gives. And, and they spent a lot of money up there in Dallas on the seize everything T-shirts and towels that were out there, and they didn't seize crap.
Well, I saw you're to our group. That was brilliant. You're sitting there in the suite with the towel over the chair and all excited.
Yeah, I was ready to go.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you were.
Yeah,
nobody else wearing a Cowboys uniform was ready to go.
None of them were. And again, all their asses have to go.
Wow, now wait a second. Explain that.
Well, that's what Michael Irvin just said.
It is.
Right?
But, do you agree with him?
I don't disagree with him, but I do think it's time for Mike McCarthy to go. Now,
he has to.
And that's a pivot for me because I said last week, when all the talk about Mike McCarthy's job status, I said last week, the only way I think Mike McCarthy's job is in jeopardy is that they go out and they get embarrassed by Green Bay.
Check.
They did that. Now, Dak Prescott had one of his best seasons under Mike McCarthy. And I think Jerry will evaluate it from that point. But again, it's what do you do in January? What do you do in the playoffs? 12 regular season wins again, but you're out this early. You haven't taken that next step. I mean, you're stuck in neutral. I do think that falls on Mike McCarthy. When you get an entire team that comes out flat, uninspired for a playoff game, that goes to the head coach.
I disagree with that.
It goes to the head coach.
How does it? If you're a professional football player and you need a head coach to motivate you to play a playoff game, you better go get a job at Sonic.
Well, I mean, I look at
that's ridiculous.
Dan Campbell rallying up his troops. I mean, I'm with you. When your whole team comes out flat, I mean, you look to the guy in charge. What message did you send to your team? There's a reason coaches are known for giving their speeches and, the different fire them up. But at the same time, he was brought in to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
And he can't win a freaking playoff game.
And not only that, you get embarrassed by his former team, which just makes it all the other.
Green Bay might get this guy fired twice. Once in Green Bay and now in Dallas. Because I look at it, I don't honestly know how you get rid of Dak Prescott, right? You've got to figure out how to win with Dak Prescott.
Well, they've been trying to do that now for 8 years.
Well, look, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that have gotten big contracts with their teams, and every team has an expectation of success, and they haven't seen that yet. So the whole 8 years he hasn't done, you don't have a plan in place right now to get rid of Dak Prescott. There's nobody waiting in the wings like a Jordan Love. That's on the front office. You can't trade him because his contract has a no tag and a no trade clause. Now, unless, I don't know, can you trade him to New England if he waives the no trade clause to get the number 3 pick? Is that a possibility?
Why would you waive anything if you're Dak Prescott?
Well, exactly.
I wouldn't.
So he's got all the leverage, and with that $60 million cap hit, he's going to get a Deshaun Lamar type deal in the offseason to lessen that. I'm just dealing with reality. I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen because that's the business side of football. So how do you win with Dak Prescott? Because I don't see him going anywhere because the contract that he signed, that Jerry gave him, unless you can find him a trade partner that's willing to no waive it for a top 5 pick. And I don't see that happening either.
I don't either. And if I'm Dak Prescott, I wouldn't do it. I mean, why? Why let Jerry Jones off the hook? You don't. And so they're stuck with him. And that's Jerry's fault. That is all Jerry's fault for giving Dak Prescott a contract that is it gives Dak all the leverage. So you're stuck with him. What do? You got a lot of people to pay coming up. A lot of money to pay. You give Dak Prescott a $60 million a year contract, which is what they're talking about, and sign him up for another 5 years. Because that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
And that just blows my mind that you would pay an average quarterback. And I think we can all agree that Dak is an average quarterback.
See, that's not accurate or fair. He's an above average regular season quarterback. He's a great regular season quarterback, but he has no success in the playoffs.
He's a poor guy, so you average him out, he's average. He got above average in the regular season, piss poor in the playoffs. So we'll give him an average grade, a C+ overall. And you're going to pay this guy $60 million a year?
He's going to finish in the top 3 in the MVP voting this year.
Damn.
Well,
guess what? The Cowboys are at home.
You're not a C+ quarterback and finish top 3 in the regular season. If you're going to be fair about it, which clearly you're not, he's better than that. If Lamar gets beat this weekend in the playoffs, right? Do you say the same thing about Lamar?
Absolutely,
right?
I do.
Really?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Look at the contract that he signed.
Absolutely, I do.
What do you do with a Justin Herbert? Look at all these quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen, if he fails in the playoffs again, right?
Josh Allen showed something yesterday that Dak Prescott has never shown in the playoffs. He put that team on his back and carried them to a victory.
Sure.
Dak Prescott has never done that. So you want to start comparing guys? I don't know what Justin Herbert could do.
We're moving goalposts again.
How are we doing that?
Because, I mean, Josh Allen has never been to a Super Bowl, right?
Neither has Dak.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. But now you're talking about, you want a playoff game. So Dak's never, I mean,
Josh Allen still has an opportunity.
Sure.
Dak doesn't.
But until he does, they're all in the same boat.
Okay. Well,
right?
He's still alive where Dak's not.
Right now, yes. This year. But when you look at totality of resumes and you look at all these quarterbacks that have been paid, you hold Dak Prescott to a different standard than everybody else.
I hold him to a different standard because he's about to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Sure.
And he doesn't deserve it.
Well, I mean, but what about all these other guys that have
They don't deserve it either.
Are they all supposed to work for free?
No, it's out of control with the NFL.
Well,
paying these quarterbacks this kind of money is outrageous.
But that's salary cap in the business side. And I think sometimes we get hung up on the dollar that they're getting. But that's market. You're next man up. You're going to get paid, right? I mean,
sure.
CeeDee Lamb.
I wish it worked that way in the regular business world. That would be awesome.
Dude, I wish we lived in their world. We don't. But when you look at CeeDee Lamb this year, one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the NFL. He's going to get paid like that.
He is.
Guy came up small in the playoffs on Sunday. 2 big drops in the first half. I don't know that it would have changed anything, but you get Micah Parsons, who's going to get one of those massive contracts. Did he even play on Sunday? No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. Did he?
But he wasn't any good.
He got 2 holding calls.
It's about damn time.
I'm telling you, he's got to be happy as hell today.
It wasn't. I mean, and you look at where the Cowboys are, because I don't see how you don't extend Dak. You got to pay CD, and you're going to pay Micah. And I look at what the Rams did when they had all those high-priced players after they won a Super Bowl. And, they had a rough year because, all right, all these guys are making all the money. We got to fill in with pieces and parts.
Yeah.
I'm glad Will McClay is sticking around because that guy's got his work cut out for him to figure out, bargains that you could fill in. And if I'm Will McClay, I'm looking at what Nick Caserio did in Houston and said, who can I go get on 1-year deals that are just hungry? Because it worked in Houston this year.
Yeah, it did work in Houston, and for a variety of reasons. First of all, we're talking coaching. That coach made a hell of a difference on both sides of the ball because he's a leader of men, where I'm not sure what McCarthy does.
So
that's one thing. Number two, they've got a rookie quarterback who exceeded every expectation there was.
Yep.
And I think, you talk system quarterbacks could have been. I don't know what Bryce Young would have been in that Houston system. He may have been fantastic. We don't know that, but it's getting lucky, right? And I'm saying that Dak Prescott has had 8 years now and has failed miserably.
Yep.
In the playoffs.
Yep.
He has. So I'm just wondering, do you give him another 5 years? Is that what you do? Is that what you're forced to do? Or do you just say, hey, eat it. You're going to have to play this year and we'll take the hit. And if you don't do it, you walk and then draft somebody like they should have done 5 years ago, like they did when they drafted Dak Prescott in the 4th round. That's what they should have done. But unfortunately, Jerry Jones is loyal to a fault, and he can't see above what Dak's a nice guy. He's a hell of a guy.
He's 81. Do you really see him doing that?
Well, if he wants to win, he can't sit there and continue to get. He was crying in the press box
because he can't take a mulligan year. That's what I'm saying.
He's hitting it out of bounds for 8 years. So how many more times you hit it out of bounds?
If he thinks Dak is the guy, and Dak in the regular season is one thing, playoffs, again, playoff Prescott, and we saw it. I mean, first read wasn't there, a little bit of panic, not on the same page with his receivers.
Taking sacks.
Moments too big for him. That sack, taking him out of field goal range. I mean, the interception that, you're across the 50. They score there, and then they get the ball to start the second half. Maybe you got a game. Instead, you throw a damn pick six, and all hope at that point is lost, right? And the garbage crap in the second half, padding stats and making the score look somewhat respectable is BS. Right?
The stat padding was BS, but he threw it 60 times, which he had to do.
Yeah, his record after 40 is not good.
Look, I don't know if you're Jerry, I got to be sitting there pulling my hair out what little he has left.
Wow.
Because what do you do?
Well,
I mean,
run it back.
You can't run it back.
You fire your coach.
You have to do. I don't see how you can look a Cowboy fan in the eye and say, we're going to run it back with this team. We've won 12 games 3 years in a row. We're going to run it back. We're the champions of the regular season.
Playoffs, another story. What do you do if you're a Cowboy fan? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment there. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. And if you're there watching in a bunch of yard, hit that thumbs up button. We'd certainly appreciate it. The Blitz rolls on here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Today is the day. It's a day I've been waiting for. It's a day that every poker player should be waiting for. The big blind is open today. Their grand opening is today, and you can go in there and play poker. And let me tell you what, I've seen the pictures. I've seen the building. This place, for lack of a better word, schwanky. Man, it's first class. This place is incredible. You're going to walk into the big blind at 281 in Redland Road, and you're going to think you walked into the Bellagio in Las Vegas or name a casino. It's just like that. You're going to transform yourself into a Las Vegas style poker room. This place is incredible. Upscale environment. It's going to cater to players from all abilities. Daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. You can celebrate the spirit of poker at the big blind. Texas Hold'em, Pot Limit Omaha, and much more. It's a members-only social club. Memberships can be purchased weekly, monthly, or annually. You know it's going to be great because it's from the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant. The Big Blind's going to offer food and beverage served directly to your table, a full bar, and, of course, all the games on the TVs. And today is the day that they open. Get down there and check them out. It is the Big Blind, 281 and Redland Road.
It's R&R in the morning.
Wednesday on R&R in the morning, the ramifications of a huge loss continues. Mike McCarthy still here? How about Dak getting paid? And what about CD? So many questions in so little time. And, oh, yeah, Spurs are going to get busy again.
Meanwhile, Texas has a team playing in the NFL playoffs. C.J. Stroud and Nico Ryans head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. We are very excited about it. Get the coffee. We start at 6.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive San Antonio. We know we can help you. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Joe Reinagel from the Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Glad to have you along. You're listening online at sasportsstar.com. Watching on YouTube, we certainly appreciate that as well. You can always be a part of the show. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Tweet at Joe Reinagel 210. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. Comment there on the YouTube. And on Friday, come hang out with us at Lucy Cooper's Flight Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
We'll be out at Lucy Cooper's on 281 in Brook Hollow, or Thousand Oaks in Brook Hollow. They're right off 281 with Flight by Yingling. Flight Friday. I like
Flight
that.
Friday. I do too.
I like
Very
that.
good.
You know, it's a Friday. Flight Friday. Let's go.
Yes.
We'll have prizes. We'll have stuff. Maybe we'll have a new Cowboys head coach that we can get excited about.
Well, we should. Apparently, reports are out of Dallas that Jerry and Mike are going to meet, and it's going to be like a job interview for Mike McCarthy, whatever that means.
You know, honestly, I did not think that Mike McCarthy's job was in jeopardy, unless they were embarrassed. They were.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dan Quinn might be gone. Now, keep in mind, while Seattle is a destination possibility for one Dan Quinn as a head coach, if Mike McCarthy gets fired, he and John Schneider go way back. John Schneider helped him get the job in Green Bay and introduced him to his wife. I mean, so you kind of look like Mike McCarthy could easily end up in Seattle. The question is, if you're going to replace Mike McCarthy, not only as head coach, but from the offense and the fact that you got your best season out of Dak Prescott with Mike McCarthy calling the plays, you got to replace that. Who's going to be better? Now, I'd love to see a Vrabel come in. You know, I keep hearing Belichick, which I can't imagine Belichick and Jerry Jones.
That doesn't sound good.
Being a good marriage. And then, you know, like Bill Belichick has an interview with Atlanta. And I'm not sure, was it Belichick interviewing Atlanta or Atlanta interviewing Belichick? But I could see him going to the NFC South because it seems like a pretty easy division to go in. Kind of like it was all those years in the AFC East. I mean, I don't know. And do you want a coach like a Vrabel? You know, you think about some of the, you know, a Pete Carroll, if you will. I mean, or one of these up and coming assistants. You know, which way do you think Jerry might go if he's going to make the change? And I'm really interested to see if this is more of a Jerry call or more of a Steven call. When those two get in the room, you get the sense that Steven is the one guy that can tell his dad, no, or this is what we're doing, the more persuasive. Jerry, a little bit more knee-jerk. He doesn't need the interview for that. I mean, Mike McCarthy, a sit-down is more of a job interview. That's dumb. You got a year left on your contract. You're fine.
What do you mean you're fine?
Well, I mean, you're either going to get fired or you're not.
Well,
you can't tell me Jerry hasn't already made up his mind, no matter what Mike McCarthy might say in that meeting.
I can't. It will baffle me, although not surprise me because of the way Jerry is. If he keeps Mike McCarthy for the final year of his contract, I just don't know how you can look Cowboy fan in the face and say, we're just going to run this thing back, because what happened on Sunday was obviously just it was just the orbits, the planets were out of alignment. And no, it's not. Mike McCarthy, something has to happen. There has to be a change. And if you're a Cowboy fan, you almost have to demand it at this point in time. I mean, you have to demand it. And the Cowboys have a list of free agents that it's a mile long that they're going to have to deal with. So there's a lot of work to do in the offseason. But the first thing has to start with Mike McCarthy. And if you want to go out and get a Mike Vrabel, I think that'd be a genius hire. That would be fantastic for the Dallas Cowboys. A no-nonsense guy that is a player's coach that is going to come in here and hire an offensive coordinator that I think would and Dak, unfortunately, they're stuck with Dak, it looks like. So, they can pick up where McCarthy left off. Just because McCarthy, they had a great regular season, all that went out the window when you had a decent head coach come in and just kind of punk the Cowboys. So it doesn't matter.
Well, what I'm curious, though, doesn't matter who the head coach is. And I say that in a way that we know what it was like with the Cowboys, the Chan Gailey, the Dave Campo, the Wade Phillips, right? And then you had 10 years with Jason Garrett, right? And Jason Garrett, it felt like every time he was about to get fired, there was a reason that they lost that you could not pin on the head coach. Des caught it, all of those different things. Every time you kind of felt like, a major injury to Tony Romo, there was always something that Jerry could go back and say, all right, Jason is the right guy, and we're going to keep going this until it wasn't. In this case, Mike McCarthy has no excuse other than he did not have his team ready to play. They had a bad plan offensively. They had a bad plan defensively. I don't know the structure in that building the way it is currently set up, that if Mike McCarthy saw the defensive plan that Dan Quinn had and went, are you nuts? They're going to run the ball. Why do we have so many defensive backs? I don't know if Mike McCarthy can even, is Dan running the defense and Mike running the offense kind of thing. But there's no excuse that he could go back to that might save his job after getting embarrassed like that. But at the same time, Jerry Jones sets the culture for the organization. So while the Netflix crew is following Jerry around, does it matter who the head coach is, whether it's a Vrabel or a Belichick or a Pete Carroll or, Joe Matter?
I'd be a hell of a head coach.
Well, I mean, I think we all could do the same kind of job that they're getting.
I can get whacked by Green Bay in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah,
it's
exactly.
as easily as anybody.
I'll take that paycheck and the criticism that comes with it. But what I'm saying, though, is does it matter the head coach and the kind of culture that you would be trying to set in that locker room with Jerry Jones as the owner? Jerry Jones sets the culture for the organization.
Well, and then so you're saying Jerry Jones is the problem.
Well,
I mean, is that what you're saying?
It is the one common denominator.
Well, sure, but you're obviously not getting rid of him. He's not going anywhere.
No, but again, like, Bill Belichick's culture. Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones, I couldn't see working together. Vrabel, I love the idea of the culture that he could set, but you think about all the penalties, the lack of discipline. I know the players love playing for him. James Slater had a lot of tweets about that. People were upset that they lost that game because of what might happen with Mike. Even Dak Prescott said, well, if Mike is on that list, then add my name to it.
Yeah, he's been amazing. I don't know how they can be, but I understand the business. In that case, it should be about me as well, honestly. I mean, that guy, I've had the season that I've had because of him. This team's had the success that they've had because of him. I understand it's about winning the Super Bowl, and that's the standard of the league and damn sure the standard of this place. So I get it, but add me to the list in that case.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please add him to the list.
You're on the list.
That would be fantastic.
Except for we can't.
do that, man. It's unfair.
We can't.
Let's add him to the list. Maybe that's the way he'll knock off the no trade clause. Maybe he and McCarthy can go as a package somewhere. That would be awesome. Add Dak to the list. Get him out of here.
Just, come back to the real world. Vrabel would be Vrabel right now of the available coaches, unless Mike Tomlin becomes available. Vrabel would be at the top of my list. Because I think he's got that good combination of disciplinarian, but also a player coach type,
those ex-New England Patriots, at least one of them in Houston's doing pretty well. So maybe a Mike Vrabel with a team that, Dallas has. They've got some talent. Could do something with them.
I mean, you're talking about Nick Caserio?
No, I'm talking about DeMeco Ryans. New England Patriot?
Yeah, he was a Houston Texan.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He never was a New England Patriot.
And then he went to Philadelphia.
Oh.
That was San Francisco.
He should have gone to New England. You're right. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know
bad.
what you're thinking either, because I don't know of any of those New England guys that have had any success in the NFL now that you say it that way.
That's a good point, I guess. Okay. Sorry, that was a brain fart.
Yeah, it was. Bumble!
Hello.
But I mean, the idea of what you can do, the winning culture, the attitude, I just, you look around and you look at what DeMeco has done in Houston, and he learned that winning culture in San Francisco, right? Dan Campbell, and the attitude that he brings, right? Yet then I see Mike McCarthy, even the dude in Philadelphia, who might end up getting fired too after the collapse that they have had.
And he should.
But when you look around and you see those style of coaches and what they get out of their players, and then you've got Mike McCarthy, just that attitude change. I mean, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, man, that's nice. But when you're out in the playoffs, 2 years in the first round, and 1 year you beat a Tampa Bay team that wasn't very good, sending Tom Brady into retirement, and you get steamrolled the next. Mike McCarthy, you weren't hired in here to get a bunch of regular season wins.
Not at all. And John Machota said that on Friday when he joined us on Friday. He said, look, McCarthy was brought in to win in the playoffs, and he has not been able to do that. And so, I mean, at some point, I'm just saying change for the sake of change is not always the best thing. But obviously, Mike McCarthy has not been able to get it done. He's not doing what he was brought in here to do, whether that's his talent level or the players playing for him. Because look, when I watched that Philadelphia game last night, that team quit on that head coach.
Yeah.
And I think they did that toward the end of the season as well. And I'm not saying the Cowboys quit, but they certainly did not play like a team that was hungry to go any farther in the playoffs than they went.
Maybe
I mean, did they?
They came out flat and uninspired, which is surprising. And they also had a really bad plan. And when you think about especially their defensive plan, and again, I know a lot of times with the Cowboys, especially when they lose, it's hard to look past the quarterback.
And he was bad.
And I'm not, he wasn't good. I can
he
tell.
Was bad.
He was bad. I don't know how much, even if Dak would have played a damn near perfect game, if it would have mattered, because the defense was that bad. Dan Quinn's offensive coaches in 2016, when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, were Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, and Mike McDaniel. Quinn is 0-6 against those guys, including playoff losses in each of the last 3 seasons. And that defensive plan from the get-go was garbage against a run-heavy team. We talked all last week about how much Aaron Jones loves running against the Dallas Cowboys.
And he should.
And they put out a defense that looked like you were running scout team on the Thursday practice. All right, run this, run that way.
And Aaron Jones had a hell of a day.
He did.
He had a hell of a day. But it does matter the way the quarterback played in the first half. Because, look, if you're playing perfect football, as you say, and it wouldn't have mattered, it would have mattered. Because Dak would have driven the Cowboys down the field and at least would have kept up scoring-wise. And that's what I figure. I figured Green Bay would score some points, but I thought the Cowboys would be able to stay up with them, and this would turn into a shootout and get it done. But that didn't happen, and it was because of that first half and how bad that offensive was, led by Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
So it does make a difference how he played, and there's a lot of blame to go around, but Dak is right there. and you can't sugarcoat it. The guy was bad.
No, it was a total failure all the way around. Although afterward, I was more mad at the defense than I was the offense.
Cowboys didn't beat anybody this year. Nobody. They beat Detroit, and a lot of controversy there.
But it's still a win.
Okay, well, sure.
I mean, you can't say they didn't beat anybody and then have an excuse for what happened.
They beat Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give them that. They beat Detroit. Because we all know Philadelphia was a fraud.
Did you see? Well, I mean, you say that now. I mean,
weren't they?
Well, at one point, 10-1, it looked like they were going back to the Super Bowl.
Sure,
right?
they did.
And then,
but even
a collapse bigger than Dallas.
There were some red flags.
Look at who Green Bay has played this year. Green Bay played nobody, and then they come in and play their best game of the year when it matters most.
And apparently, they played nobody in the playoffs because they rolled Dallas. So you can't say they're an elite team when they don't beat anybody, and then they get rolled. They beat somebody else pretty good too, by the way. Detroit.
Yeah. Common denominator.
Yeah. Look, Green Bay, and I think they're getting too many points at San Francisco, by the way. That's a lot. I think it's 10 points or whatever it is. It's big numbers. But I don't know. Are they for real? I think Jordan Love is turning into a pretty decent quarterback, and I think it's because he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. I think it's a huge part of it. Guy played well.
He did.
And he has been playing well.
Ronnie, Josh, Martin, we see you there. You want to chime in? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Keep those comments coming on the YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. You know me, you listen to this show enough, you know the Roo Pub is my go-to spot. No better place to watch a big game than at the Roo Pub at 281 in Redland Road with those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. And I'll tell you what, it was so much fun at the Roo Pub on Saturday night for that game that was only on Peacock because, of course, it's a big game. The Roo Pub had it. And that bar was packed, standing room only. Felt like a Spurs finals game in there. But about half the people rooting for Kansas City, half are rooting for Miami. That makes it a lot of fun when you have no rooting interest and you're just watching good football, drinking cold beer, and eating great food. And the food at the Roo Pub is fantastic, all made from scratch. I know we had the wings because they're the best and biggest in town. About 15 different burgers on that menu. Great appetizers, great salads, and that kitchen is open late till 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo has happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. They're right next to the Angry Elephant, just down from the big blind. So if you want to go have a couple of drinks and then go play some poker, you can do that right there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Just mix a packet of Eucora with water and drink it when you need support, like right after intimacy. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Risa, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The Home Depot makes it easy to shop and save on appliances in-store and online. Enjoy savings on top brands like GE, LG, Frigidaire, Whirlpool, and more. Find kitchen appliances with helpful features like customized organization, and save time with laundry appliances that have faster to $450 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid January 4th through 24th. Gas ranges and dryers extra. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Ordinary tissues can leave you with a red nose, so choose Puffs Plus Lotion for all of your blows. Puffs have lotion to soothe sensitive skin, so you can wipe without wincing. It's a win-win. Puffs have cushiony thickness, which brings relief too, so the days of sore red noses are gone and through. When you're after soothing softness, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Victor Wembanyama is going to be competing in the NBA Skills Challenge on All-Star Weekend. Wemby and the Spurs lost in Atlanta yesterday. Next up, they're at Boston tomorrow night. Texas A&M Athletic Director Ross Bjork is being targeted by the Ohio State Buckeyes for the same position. Hiring process, they say, is in the final stages, with a conclusion expected in the coming days.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on a Tuesday afternoon. Stupid cold outside. Hopefully your pipes are okay. We just got an email. The water in the building is currently off due to a busted pipe. Shelton is working on the issue. Great.
That's good news.
Next year?
Yeah.
What?
Said it'll be fixed next year?
Yeah, it'll be fixed right away. Because at some point he's going to need to flush the toilet.
Oh, my gosh. So we're going to have to walk outside and use a tree?
Good luck with that in your small bladder.
I'm glad you said bladder.
Well, today's not the day for outside urination. I'm just saying, man, you can't pee in a tree today, man.
Wow. Of course you can.
I don't know that I'd be willing to risk it.
Well, some of us can risk it. You know, some of you can't.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got to stop. I'm normally on social media and stuff. People make comments, and that's cool, and it's what we do. So some dude says he doesn't listen to the show anymore because I laugh too much. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean,
yeah, okay.
So I'm looking at that going, well, this must be a real sourpuss.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
What do you got against laughing? I asked him, dude. I had to respond. He goes, I've been sick of the laugh. I just want some good, serious sports takes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm like, every time I laugh now, I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah. You can't make everybody happy.
Well,
I mean, you could try, but
I'm like, a little laughter wouldn't hurt anybody.
I saw a meme the other day. It says, you're not a pizza. You can't make everybody happy. That was great.
Oh, say I'm not worried about it. These guys are.
No, you're more worried about now that you got to pee.
No, I'm good.
Oh, you are now, but now that you're thinking about it, you got to pee.
No, I'm good.
And there's nowhere to pee at our building right now.
I'm assuming that we can still go in there. And you might fill the thing up and it might overflow. Be a nice little yellow stew in the urinal.
Go outside and find the turtle.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Oh my goodness. It was hairy. It was sometimes.
We all need a good laugh today.
We do. Although I have to admit, I won't lie to you. I was giggling a lot on Sunday.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
I was, just because it was like, I couldn't believe what was going on. So it was like, they scored again. It was entertaining. Wow.
It was far from entertaining. That is not the word that I would use to describe what I saw. But then again, I'm a Cowboy fan. I will always be a Cowboy fan, even with crap like that. Although games like that make you really rethink things. But, I'll be back, go through the mourning process, which is what we're doing now. Your stages of grief. Acceptance, we're not there yet.
Well, you're used to this. So, this is something you have to deal with on a yearly basis. So you ought to be used to it.
Easy for you, Mr. Titans fan.
When there's no expectations, then you have no problem.
Well, that's it. It's easy. I wish I could root for a team like yours that had no expectation, and every now and then you get surprised. And then the memes are fantastic.
Oh, they really are.
And again, they're all recycled. Nobody's come up with anything new, anything that we haven't seen over the last 10 years. But the Cowboys cycle, season starts, win some games, fans get their hopes up. We them boys, this is our year, and then choke in the playoffs. And we're at the choke in the playoff stage. And every Cowboy hater has that meme in their phone ready to go. There must be a folder, in their phone with all the different Cowboy memes. The picture of the old floppy disk with the last Super Bowl pictures that I've had that sent to me by about 7 different people. Thanks for the originality, Bob Brown. I get so many, and they're all the same. They haven't changed in years. At least come up with something new and creative, because we've been down this road before.
The only thing that's entertaining about all these memes and stuff is how Texan fan now all of a sudden is extremely happy that the Cowboys are out and the Texans are still in the playoff.
Appreciate the Houston Texans fan. As a Cowboy fan, for a long time, I looked at the Texans as kind of my AFC team, chick on the side, until Bill O'Brien got there. They've got something to root for, but in typical little brother fashion, Houston fans wanting to tweet at you during their game about the Cowboys, which makes no sense to me. Enjoy your victory, yet the Cowboys are in your head so much. And the fact that you look at the Dallas Cowboys as the standard is embarrassing, because the Cowboys on popularity, sure, that should be the standard. But when it comes to winning, they shouldn't be your standard. That shouldn't be the benchmark, yet it is. And now, because Houston has one more playoff win, they want to gloat about that, which again, they haven't been to an AFC championship game, let alone a Super Bowl. And so if you want to make fun of playoff wins for the Cowboys, until you have some success in the playoffs, shouldn't that be more of the standard? But again, it's the little brother syndrome that I find comical, because in reality, Texan fan, I am rooting for you. You're not my number one team, and that's not going to happen. But I am rooting for Houston to have success.
Well, I don't care. Not really care. I'm going to watch the game. If they have success, that's great. We'll move on to the next round. But I'm not going to sit there and have a party and root for them. I just not who I am, and I don't like the city of Houston. So all of those things are the reason why. But Texan fans, I hate to break this to you. Even if you were to go on and win a Super Bowl this year, there will still be 10 times more Cowboy fans in this city and in this state than there ever will be Texan fans. And I know this from experience as an Oiler fan. when the Oilers were at their very best, the Cowboys still kicked their butt.
I still don't even know that it'd be 10. I don't even know that it would be 10 in Houston. I mean, the Houston Texans still don't own Harris County when it comes to fandom with the Cowboys. Success on the field, you could pass that up. It's almost like, if you remember, how long ago was it that the Mavericks actually won a title, right? And Maverick fans comparing themselves to the Spurs fans. They finally got one. They finally got one. And, you know, how many trophies do the Spurs have? And, you know, it's comical. But Texan fan, I am rooting for you, and I want you to have success. But the idea of you're measuring against the Cowboys in the middle of a blowout win over Cleveland, you're still tweeting about the Cowboys, which I find comical.
Well, it's okay. Let them have their time.
Yeah.
That's
Indy
fine.
Kalu will join us in about 20 minutes. Right now, phone lines are full. Everybody wanting to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Ronnie, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man? Ronnie showing up like the Cowboys did on Sunday. Are the phones working, Pledge? You push all the right buttons? All right. Martin, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Yeah, my wife on Sunday goes like, "What do you want to make for the game?" I go, "Nothing." I already knew it was going to happen. You know, it was no big surprise.
Really?
The big surprise, really, it was inevitable. I mean, under McCarthy, we're losers, you know? And, you know, nothing's going to happen unless he's gone. Nothing is going to happen unless Jerry Jones relinquishes his power and gets
ain't gonna happen.
a real coach. That ain't going to happen. We're going to become an expansion team again.
An expansion team. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened with Tom Landry? Happy trails to you until we meet again. Everything, it's inevitable. You know, they're going to, Dak is just going to fade into the sunset, and we're going to be a 5-15 team, I would say, probably in 3 years.
5-15.
Yeah, the only way we're going to win unless Jerry sells the team.
Jerry,
that ain't happening.
Jerry's never going to sell the team.
Martin,
it's impossible for them to become an expansion team again.
And it's impossible for them to go 5-15.
Oh, man, you hit the trifecta. Ryan, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
Hey, diehard Cowboys fan. Also a Texans fan. Cheering for the Texans. But, Mike McCarthy needs to go. You had 3 seasons, 12-5, and can't even make it to the championship, let alone a Super Bowl. You were there to get us to the Super Bowl and win. You need to go. You need to either hire Mike Vrabel or Belichick. I think Belichick would be better, but if Vrabel can help us get to the Super Bowl and win, I'll be happy.
Yeah, so will everybody.
Yeah. I don't care who's the coach that gets us to the Super Bowl that wins. That guy would get an automatic statue. Joshua, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. Thank you. The Cowboys I'm a Houston Texans fan, and they need to do what the Houston Texans did, but since they'll never actually get a competent general manager, like how the Texans got Nick Caserio and let him work for his, 2-3 years that he was there, getting rid of contracts and taking over and doing kind of GM stuff, I don't think it'll ever happen. Jerry's already said he wants all of the control, and there's no coach who's going to be able to coach that team.
You know, Joshua, I mean, I not to say you're a little informed on a statement like that, but you are. They've got a guy named Will McClay, who is, while he doesn't have the general manager title, he is essentially the general manager, which is why, various teams every year ask to talk to him, but he is very loyal to Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones pays him well. And you look at his drafting, you look at some of the guys that he's gone out to get. While he doesn't have the GM title, Will McClay basically is the GM and has been in that role for a number of years. I mean, going on 10?
But Jerry still has to approve everything.
Well,
it's not
sure.
like McClay can go out and say, "Hey, I mean, this is what we're going to do," and not run it by Jerry.
And don't you figure, Nick Caserio doesn't just go out and do things without Cal McNair
but I think
signing
there's
off
a difference
on things like that.
I think there's a difference.
It's just a title in the way he walks around. Jerry is a very hands-on owner, so is Steven, but they've been doing it a long time. And And I would say they are football people. Like you heard that exit interview with Pete Carroll that he's explaining to Mrs. Allen, and she's not a football person. She doesn't understand. I think Jerry and Steven are football people, even though they don't get credit for that. But, let's not forget. Jerry was a college football player, played with Jimmy, won a national title with Arkansas. He's grown up in football. And after 30 years of doing it. But I do think the idea that Jerry is the GM and doing all the scouting and looking all that is so not true when you've got a guy like Will McClay in the building.
And he's sticking around, and that's a good thing. Will Mike McCarthy stick around? That's the question. I think you got to make a change, don't you? You got to make a change of some sort. It looks like Quinn's probably gone.
You would
right?
Think, we kind of thought that last year, and he stuck around. And
do you want him to stick around after that performance on Sunday? Jeez. You got schooled.
And again, it's a long history of getting schooled by people that used to work with him. And when I look at when I look at some of the guys that have just schooled him, and like Rod Marinelli, when he was the defense coordinator, wanted a certain type of player. And that's what the Cowboys went out and got, right? Let's get a Taco Charlton instead of a TJ Watt because of the body type kind of crap. I don't know what to think of Dan Quinn right now as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, because he's a part of what has happened in the postseason the last couple of years, right? It's, he
did draft Mozzie Smith. Is that guy in a milk carton?
He might take a couple of years to develop.
You think so?
Maybe.
Oh, it's Schoonmaker too. Yeah.
Well, Schoonmaker is, Mike McCarthy wanting more tight ends.
He sure did.
Yeah,
don't we all?
If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. If you need a shirt that says we need a new coach, they'll make that for you. If you need that on a jacket, because the winter gear is out on display in the showroom there at Sammy's, you need jackets, you need coats, you need half zips, hoodies with your logo on it, beanies, Sam will get you taken care of. If you need caps, Sam has over 25,000 caps on display in his showroom right now, and about 75 different color combinations just waiting for your logo. He even has the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices, and Sam has all the big name brands: North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. 210-824-3900 is the phone number. 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or go to the website samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas, presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Wow, thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here buck, there buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
At the YMCA of Greater San Antonio, you'll find countless opportunities to get moving and experience the joy of better health. All it takes is one first step. Find what moves you. Find your why. Join today. Learn more at ymcasatx.org.
The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Jim Rome here, and back in the military city of San Antonio.
Weekdays at noon on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. If you've done any grilling over the weekend, maybe you did a good chili, a good, over-the-top chili. Upload those photos, sasportstar.com, the Grilling with the Blitz page. On Thursday, we'll judge meat. You could win yourself a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. And while you're at sasportstar.com, make sure you register for New Year, New Cash. Your chance at winning $2,024. It's that easy. Just get signed up at sasportstar.com.
You know, I've seen a great chili recipe, by the way, on Meat Church, but we do have some breaking news, Pledge. The Ohio State Buckeyes have taken A&M's athletic director, Ross Bjork. They've hired him in the same position there at Ohio State. So Ross Bjork leaving Texas A&M and headed to Ohio State. Wow.
It's going to be interesting to see how A&M responds to that. Now, when they decided to part ways with Jimbo, I remember saying here on this show for Ross Bjork, who's held accountable for a contract and a buyout that massive? And he has done so many good things there for Texas A&M and all the other coaching hires that Ross Bjork has made and where A&M is going. There's big shoes to fill there in College Station. Distinguished Aggie alum Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk will join us today at 5:15 as she does every Tuesday. We'll talk Cowboys, obviously, with her, but also get some insight on where A&M might turn with this development. This is big, and over the weekend there was rumors that this could happen, and obviously those wheels turned quickly.
No question about it. And I think despite the Jimbo Fisher contract, I think Ross Bjork did a pretty good job at A&M, and I think it's going to be a big loss and big shoes to fill. By the way, Mike Tomlin has informed his team that he's not going anywhere. He'll remain the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, well, at least as it sounds now. Mike Garafolo from NFL Network says in a team meeting, Tomlin told Steeler players speculation about him stepping down is unfounded, and he plans on coaching the team in 2024. He does have only 1 year left on his contract. So is he going to go into that final year without an extension? Does ownership make a change? He'll address the media later this week. Now, you saw the podium last night, and I know a lot of you get upset with reporters when they ask questions and it doesn't feel like the timing is right.
Yeah.
He was asked last night at the end of his press conference if he planned on coaching next year or about his coaching future.
Anyone?
Mike, you have a year left on your contract.
And he just exited as if they said there's food in the break room. He was just gone. Boom. And I appreciated that it was the very last question. Like nothing that wasn't a question that came early in the press conference postmortem after their game. You got all the game questions out of the way, but most coaches do an end of year interview, but not all. And you don't know when and if those are going to happen. So from a reporter standpoint, that might be the last time they talk to him before a decision is made. And that was a big story leading up to the game. It's a big story following the game. So I don't have a problem with her asking the question. It is a very legit question. And the fact that she waited until the last question, so it wasn't like the first thing that he had to answer after a season came to an end. But you don't know if he's going to be available to the media. It does say he is expected to address the media later this week. And my guess is that's after he meets with ownership and either has a new contract or there's clarity about his future. What he told the players today, my plan is I'm not going anywhere. But kind of like Mike McCarthy, you meet with the owner and your plans might change.
Well, they could change. But again, and this is the one thing that Jerry may take into consideration, and the same thing in Pittsburgh, that both of these guys have a year left on their contract. Look, Mike Tomlin has done a hell of a job.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about just not being able to get over the hump, but he took this Pittsburgh team this year that had injury after injury after injury and got them into the playoffs. And they had a huge injury yesterday with TJ Watt not being able to play in that game. That certainly affected that game, I would say. But I thought Mason Rudolph played well. And the fact that Mike Tomlin is able to get this team into the playoffs, I think is a hell of a coaching job. And I think Mike Tomlin's a hell of a coach.
Well, I agree. And we're on the outside looking in. And I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate them.
Yeah.
But I respect what they are as an organization. Now, we work with a guy who is a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Well, yeah, I feel sorry for him.
And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think he's ready to move on from Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Because they haven't won enough Super Bowls. It's one thing to win regular season games, get into the postseason, but you're not advancing, and kind of like what we're saying with Mike McCarthy in Dallas. 12 regular season wins is nice. We need success in January.
Absolutely.
And it's been a while since the Steelers have had success in January.
It is, and that's fair. And I think every coach should be held to that standard. Every single one of them, including Mike McCarthy. So it's fair. So if Pittsburgh decides to move on, then I think that's a fair choice. But I think Mike Tomlin will get another job somewhere very, very quickly.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Let's go to the phones. I'm disappointed. Arnold didn't hang on long enough.
He wanted to gloat.
Yeah, Packer fan that said he was at the game. Well, Arnold, there was your chance. Don't call back. Jorge, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing? I appreciate you. Everything you guys do, man, and got a disappointed Cowboys fan out here. And I'll say that, unless culture changes in the organization, you can get your Belichick, Vogels, and all other coaches. But I think all in all, the culture's got to change. And the fact that Micah's got, you got Micah distracted with a podcast and players doing all other kinds of things. I think, if the discipline expectations aren't held to the level of the Cowboys organization, then I don't see us ever getting to where we were in the 90s.
It's interesting because there is the culture that you talk of, Jorge, and it is a great point. 2024, life is different. In the 90s, you think about what the Cowboys were dealing with in the 90s, and I'm sure Michael Irvin would be the first to say, I'm glad there was no social media available at the White House and some of the other things. I'm not a fan of Micah and his podcast at all. But players and having podcasts right now, you look at the Kelsey Brothers podcast, because they're winning, nobody says anything that it's a distraction, right? There are other players.
Except for Jason.
What do you mean?
Well, he's not winning.
Well, not anymore.
And in fact,
right?
He's retired.
He's apparently the case,
yeah.
Right? But players can have podcasts and they do their own thing. But how you go about it and what you do, to me, the culture in that locker room, the undisciplined, the penalties. But if you're Jerry Jones, when you've got a Netflix crew following you around for a documentary, can you get mad at Micah Parsons and tell him he can't do his podcast? A lot of those guys, see, back in the day, a lot of those guys would do regular radio appearances. And, Jerry Jones has always encouraged that. That has built the Cowboys brand into being what it is, and players were accessible. Travis Frederick had a great segment on the Fan with Ben and Skin, back in the day. Other players throughout the years, and you go to other cities, players do radio interviews. But at the same time, now they can all do their own podcasts and control their own messaging. And so I don't know if the podcast, and the fact that Micah does one is that big of a thing or something that would change, because that's just the way things are now versus the way they were in the 90s. But you've got to figure out a way to get this team that's one. I mean, they're a good football team. They are. But they have zero playoff success. Why? And can the Cowboys peel back the onion enough to figure out why they fall flat in January every freaking year?
Well, yeah, it's a couple of reasons. You say they have a good football team. In the regular season, they're winning games against teams that aren't as good as they are. That's part of it. And you've got players that need to be pressure players that can live up to the moment, that can play well in those times. And thus far, Dak Prescott is not that guy. C.D. Lamb was not that guy yesterday. Micah Parsons was not that guy yesterday. I'm okay with the podcasts and all that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. What I don't like is the cameras catching C.D. Lamb complaining every time he doesn't get a ball thrown his way. And I know other wide receivers do that. But if you've got a problem with your quarterback, handle it somewhere else.
Yep.
To me, that just looks just selfish and spoiled. And that's the kind of stuff I don't want to see. And we saw it a lot from C.D. Lamb this year. Credit him for a great year. He had a great year. Dak had a great year in the regular season. But pressure means you win in those pressure situations, like it's win or go home. And the Cowboys were not up to that standard yesterday or Sunday.
Steven Jackson said about about pressure back in the day. Last second shot, he wanted the ball, something along the lines of he makes love to pressure. Some guys, ball comes to them, game is on the line, you need a 3, and they pass it off.
Yeah,
they
Cowboys passed it off yesterday.
They can't handle the pressure. They airballed that 3 as time expired.
No doubt about it.
CJ Stroud certainly handled the pressure of his first playoff game extremely well. We'll talk about it with the great Indy Kalu. He joins us next here on the Blitz.
Hey, first of all, I want to talk about Parkhurst New Vision because, well, I'm just happy to do so, and it makes me happy to talk about them because of the way that they've changed my life. Not only my life, they've changed my wife's life. And we're talking about eyesight. I see better now than I've seen in 30 years because I had lens replacement surgery with Parkhurst New Vision, as did my wife, Maggie, and you can do the same. You can start the new year with the best eyesight you've had in years. All it takes is making that first step. First step is to call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. When you call them, you're going to set up a consultation. First thing I want you to do is let them know that your old friend Joe Reinagle from the Blitz sent you over there. Second thing I want you to do is have a list of questions that you have. They will answer every question that you have, and you will feel comfortable by the time you walk out of there with your appointment to get your eyes done in place. Parkhurst New Vision. They're the best in the business. Give them a call. Let them do for you what they've done for my family. 210-585-2020.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They offer on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. They have everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. And if you've slipped on some ice over the last couple of days, you realize your deck is iced over, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I wish I could get this stupid jar open. Jars can be tough, am I right?
Who are you? And how'd you get in my kitchen?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of easily switching to Progressive and helping you get a discount that honors the time spent with your previous insurer.
Great, but what does that have to do with getting this jar open?
Nothing.
So you can't open this?
Oh, I just do insurance. Jars, I leave to the professionals.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Ask Shireen Williams during the January winter sale, January 12th through the 22nd, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family. Blitz have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Shireen Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
The Aggies play here. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Tuesday afternoon. Houston Texans crush Cleveland. They get Baltimore next. Let's talk about it. Indy Kalua, former Texan, joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. I can only imagine the mood in the city of Houston on this Tuesday, Indy.
You know what? I'm still not that happy, Jason. And just real quick, I don't want to get too controversial, but something's really bothering me. You know, there's this stereotype that black dads don't show up for their kids. They don't show up for their sons. But what I was watching, Dak Prescott's daddy, Jordan Love, showed up, and he did a great job with lessons and teaching his son how the game is.
I credit you, ND, and at the same time, you suck. Love you, brother. But we had an internal bet here on how quickly it would take you to rip the Cowboys. And I said 10 seconds. And the fact that you went with that great setup, you pushed it to 23. Late as usual, but you ultimately get there.
Dude, that was genius. I'm going to say, Indy, that was genius.
You're a Rice guy.
That was genius.
You should see the messages this guy was texting me on Sunday.
I'm sure he was.
I mean, they were non-existent like the Cowboys defense.
Well deserved. So I don't think there's any debate anymore, Indy, about who the best quarterback in the state of Texas is.
Well, Joe, you and I weren't debating it. There's only one guy who didn't quite understand the best quarterback in Texas is C.J. Stroud.
Well, I mean, he's the best one playing this weekend. I'll give you that. I will say this, though. In typical little brother fashion, the Cowboys are living in your head. You had this great win, yet it's always about the Dallas Cowboys. I love it. I mean, when you become a part of the Texans organization, when you're going through the orientation process, is that part of it that, no matter what we're doing, it's still always about the Dallas Cowboys?
You know what? It's not our fault. It's the loudmouth Dallas Cowboys fans who keep, bringing up the Cowboys, bringing up the 90s.
You brought up the Cowboys, not me. I wanted to talk about the Texans.
No, I was just talking about father figures. Actually, you brought up the Cowboys. I was just talking about father figures, in the east side community of San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was talking about.
There you go.
Well, indeed, there's no way that Jason or anybody else listening can debate that. Jordan Love came in and schooled the Dallas Cowboys.
Dude, Jordan Love was incredible. I mean, we saw two incredible quarterback performances over the weekend. One by C.J. Stroud, one by Jordan Love, both making their first playoff starts. It was incredible. Incredible quarterback play.
I'll tell you what, if you love the NFL and if you love quarterback play, you should feel pretty good about the next few years, the next couple of decades, because me, as a football fan, not only did I play, but I'm a huge football fan. And the thought of Drew Brees retiring, Peyton Manning retiring, Tom Brady, the best to ever do it, retiring, you're kind of like, uh-oh. But now you see this new crop. You see these young stars. And football's in a good place right now with this quarterback play.
Indy, I've got to ask you, I'm watching that game on Saturday and really not believing what I'm seeing. I mean, yeah, C.J. Stroud played well, but I tell you what, that Houston defense was on point, man. I mean, they just stifled Joe Flacco and the Browns.
And what's crazy? You have Will Anderson, who's playing on basically 1.5 legs because he has that high ankle sprain, which is very tough to play on. Then you have a guy like Derek Barnett, who was cut by the Philadelphia Eagles. Not only did he get a sack, but he had like 3 quarterback hits. Kurt Hinish, you raise your hand if you know Kurt Hinish, the undrafted second-year player. He's getting after the quarterback. So what's cool about it, Joe, you have guys that just aren't the big stars, but they're playing like stars. And that lets you know that they're buying into what DeMeco Ryans is trying to do in regards to the culture and just changing the mindset with this entire organization.
When you think about expectations and the fact that there weren't any on Houston coming into the season, even down the stretch, I think most Texans fans were okay with whatever happens is fine because it's about next year in building. And I think a lot of Texans fans, the 3 that call into this show and James Pledger, our producer, and even you, I think to a degree, it was house money. And then I saw that interview that C.J. Stroud did with Pat McAfee, and he was like, yeah, I think everybody in that room believed. Outside fans, it doesn't matter. Some guy just tweeted here a minute ago and said B had none as long as they beat the Titans twice. He was happy. How do the Texans players, you talk about DeMeco changing the culture and the mindset in that locker room. You beat the hell out of Cleveland and Joe Flacco. Now you've got Lamar, and the only game that I remember where CJ really looked like a rookie was that game against Baltimore to start things off.
What was cool about what you said, the players never bought into the mindset of the fans and the support staff, because you're right. Even me, I'm guilty of it. Before the season started, my thought was as long as they show that they're going in the right direction. The previous 2 years with Lovie Smith and Cully, I can't believe I already forgot his name. Cully.
Who?
Yeah, Dave Culley, the one guy who everyone was shocked when he was given the opportunity to be a head coach. But it was so bad. The thought was, as long as the Texans show they're heading in the right direction this season, but D'Amico, that wasn't good enough for him and for the players. Every week when I was able to talk to a player on the podcast, and it wasn't just player speak or coach speak, but they were almost offended when we were patting them on the back and saying, hey, y'all have already done more than what we expected. Y'all have already exceeded expectation, because in their mind, they're supposed to be in the Super Bowl. As crazy as that sounds, they've all bought into that, and we're seeing it with the way they play every week.
You know what, Indy? I don't know how crazy it is anymore. I mean, because I didn't give them a chance against Cleveland. I thought they were going to get beat against Cleveland, and they smoked the Browns. Now they're going up to play the number 1 seed and most likely the MVP in Lamar Jackson, who, again, with all due respect to Lamar, hasn't done very well in the playoffs. So I'm thinking the Texans go up there. They've got a legit shot.
No, absolutely. I mean, when you talk about, and this isn't a knock, this is true assessment, but when you talk about teams and quarterbacks who are known for not really carrying their team throughout the playoffs, we already saw what happened with Dallas. We saw what happened with my former team, the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, I mean, as much pressure as the Texans put on themselves, Lamar Jackson, the 2-time NFL MVP, if he wins it again this season, he's known for not winning playoff games or getting to the Super Bowl. So there's as much pressure on him as the Texans coming to town.
You think about and obviously I'm not trying to compare Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson, right? But when you look at what that defense did to Joe Flacco with the 2 interceptions, you get a couple of pick sixes. And again, Flacco threw the ball well, got a bunch of yards. At least this time they covered Amari Cooper. But Cleveland still couldn't run the ball against that Texans defense. Is that kind of the defensive game plan you expect this Sunday from Houston? Stop the run, including Lamar, and if they can do that, they're going to have a chance to go into Baltimore and upset the 1 seed?
Absolutely. I mean, you nailed it. Stop the run, and including in all caps Lamar Jackson. Don't let him get away. When you rush him as a passer, when he drops back to pass, you really have to be cognizant of your rush lanes, meaning you can't leave these windows for him to dip in and pick up 15, 20 yards with his legs, because that would just kill a defensive drive. But if they can stop the run, and if Lamar Jackson sits back there and he's patting the ball and he just beats you solely with his arm, then they're just a better team on that weekend. But if they can shut down the run or slow it down, it could get real exciting in Baltimore for the Texans.
But, Indy, you know how it is, man. You go in, you watch film, you see the Lamar, this is the way you stop him, you draw it up on the board, and then you get out there and you watch this guy run around like a video game. It's easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, most of the time. I remember preparing for Vic many years, and just like you said, we write it up on the whiteboard. Back then we used whiteboards, not tablets, but we write it up and it looks good, and we're smiling thinking that we have an answer to stopping Michael Vick. And after the first broken down rush, and he rushes for 50 yards, it's like, oh yeah. The whiteboard and the actual field are 2 entirely different things. So, no, you're right. And here's the thing, as a defense, you can't get down. Lamar Jackson will have at least 3 big plays.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you right now. So as a defense, you just have to suck it up and make sure those 3 games don't mean that you're going to actually lose the game.
I'm trying to think, without being too simplistic, Indy, if Lamar is on the sideline, he can't hurt you. Does Bobby Slowick and the offense do anything different against that Ravens defense, which, by the way, is a really good defense? But how do you make sure your offense stays out on the field, especially with all the injuries that Houston has had offensively? You figure at some point it might catch up to them. Noah Brown going on IR this week. What do you think the game plan will be offensively for Houston Saturday against Baltimore?
That's a great question, and I hope Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, isn't thinking about Lamar Jackson. He needs to be going into this game just thinking whatever the Texans offense needs to do to put points on the board. But if they say, oh, we're going to slow it down and try to run the ball and take time off the clock. And look, I'm not an offensive coordinator. I'm So I could be dead wrong, but just my opinion as a former defensive player, if you go into the game trying to control too much as an offensive unit, saying we want to help our defense out and slow down the offense, if that takes you out of your rhythm, it's just going to have the opposite effect. If you run a fast-paced offense, then stick to it. Don't let Lamar Jackson determine what you do as an offense.
Indy, and it doesn't always work out this way, but at least in the first round of the playoffs, it has. You've got a team in Green Bay, a team in Houston who absolutely are playing with house money. They've got nothing to lose. They're going in. They're just free playing. And it's going to be the same this week with Houston. Again, I mean, there's no pressure on this Houston team. All the pressure's on Baltimore. All the pressure's going to be on San Francisco. That kind of stuff is dangerous, isn't it? I mean, we saw it with the Dallas Cowboys. They couldn't handle the pressure, and they got smoked. And I see the same thing happening this week against Baltimore and San Francisco. Same two things could happen.
As you were talking and setting up that question, my mind went to the Washington team I was on, where we won the division with a bunch of no-name guys, including myself. And we also won our first round playoff game because of what you said. No one expected us to, win the division. No one expected us to win our first playoff game. And when I say we stepped on the field with a smile on our face, like, you know what, whether we win or lose, we're going to the strip club after this game, and we're going to have a bunch of fun. So when you have that loose attitude, it's very dangerous. It's very contagious, too, around your team, because on the flip side, when I was in Philly and we were winning the division, beating the Cowboys every year, and everyone expected us to go to the Super Bowl, when we got into the playoffs, our backsides were so tight, we weren't really ourselves. And a couple of times we lost to like Carolina the year I feel like we really should have been in the Super Bowl, but Carolina Panthers beat us. And I don't think they were a better team, but we were just so tight because it was ours to have, and we couldn't make any mistakes, and you just can't go into a game like that. So you're absolutely right. This next round of football, Green Bay, Houston, even though I just mentioned Houston put the pressure on themselves, Tampa Bay, it's going to be fun to watch those teams because people aren't really giving them a chance. But the Buffaloes, the Kansas Cities, San Francisco, Baltimore, if they lose, it's like, the weight of the world's on their shoulders right now.
Indy Kalu, that is so interesting. You played a decade plus in the NFL. Take us into the mindset of a locker room playing with pressure, because we talked about it earlier. The Cowboys could not handle the pressure. All the pressure was on the Dallas Cowboys. Green Bay won the toss, took the ball. They went down and scored because they know the Cowboys aren't a good team playing from behind. When you are playing with that much pressure, because I'm trying to figure out how a team comes out so flat and uninspired on both sides of the ball. The Cowboys' offense was bad. The defense was just awful. How does the team come out flat like that? Does every guy on the roster come out with their backside so tight, as you just put it, that they can't perform?
Because they put that much pressure on themselves. They were listening to ESPN in the morning. They were listening to y'all's show, and they knew that they had to win this game. And if they didn't win it, a coach may get fired. Dak Prescott will be the butt of so many jokes. And I've seen it. Like I've been in a locker room where you're expected to win. It's win or bust, and you're disappointing so many people if you don't win. And everybody's very quiet. They're real quiet. And I don't want to knock them, Jason. I don't want to say that they came out uninspired, but they were just almost nervous and put too much pressure because you have to win. And it's not even supposed to be a close game. So, you've been in that locker room where everyone's quiet and you're thinking, okay, everybody's just locked in. But then I've also, on the flip side, in the second round of the playoffs, people weren't expecting us to be there. And, they're jamming music. They have little Boosie and Webby going in the locker room, and you might get nervous if you're the head coach, like, are my guys taking it serious? And it's like, hell yeah, they're taking it serious, but they're about to go have a good time. So I don't know the psychology behind it, because some players, the Tom Brady's of the world, it seems like they're never too tight and they never overthink it. But then you see a team like Philadelphia, like what we saw with Dallas, where look, as much as I joke about Dallas, they have way more talent than Green Bay. But on that given day, I feel like the pressure just got to them. And that's where you need to have that coach, that coaching staff that knows how to keep it loose even when the pressure's at its highest point.
You know, Indy, and you say that sometimes the better team doesn't always win, I guess. But C.J. Stroud apparently on the podium right now as we speak, and looking at some tweets from Houston reporters, said, quote, "We don't subscribe to the house money narrative, and we believe in ourselves." Is that podium talk, or do you think that's real?
It's a little bit of both. Like he might really feel, we're not buying, because basically, if you're saying, "Oh, we're playing with house money," let's kind of dig deeper into what you're really saying with that phrase. You're basically saying we're not supposed to be here, so we're just going to go have a good time. So no team, no player, no individual current player is going to look at their team like that. You're so detached from reality when you're a football player, when you're in the NFL. You think that you're going to the Super Bowl. Before the season starts, the Carolina Panthers thought that they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. You're just detached from reality when you're a player. So I'm not saying that he doesn't believe what he's saying, Jason, but it's cool to say it. But once you get into the game, you still don't have the same pressure. Regardless of what he's saying, they don't have the same pressure. They're not feeling it the same way the Baltimore Ravens. If the Baltimore Ravens lose at home again after Lamar Jackson wins his second NFL MVP, but yet he can't lead his team to the Super Bowl, that's going to be a much bigger disappointment than if the Houston Texans get on that plane and come back with an L.
All right, Indy, I've got to ask you this question because it looked like it to me, but you tell me as a former NFL player and a former Philadelphia Eagle, did that team quit on Sirianni?
Ooh, you know what? I'm the wrong person to ask because one of the worst things you could say about somebody is that they quit. Like, I joke a lot. I'll say, Jordan Love is Dak's daddy, but
Here we go.
to say a player quit is like that's one of the worst things that you could say about a player. I would just say that given day Tampa Bay just kicked their butts. I mean, they were just a better team, but I can't think of Fletcher Cox quitting. I can't think of Jason Kelsey quitting. It's tough for me to say that.
Yeah, but how do you explain the collapse? And as a Cowboy fan, pissed off my season is over. The only glee right now is look what happened to the Eagles, right? I mean, how do you explain a collapse? They were 10-1.
Oh yeah, well, two things. You win in bunches, and even San Francisco. Now it wasn't 6 games where they look like trash, like the Eagles. But as great as I think San Francisco is the best football team in the league right now. But there was a couple of weeks where you were scratching your head. But with the Eagles, maybe they just weren't as good as the record said they were after those 11 games, and maybe they were ignoring things that they should not have ignored during those victories. Because I was talking to a buddy of mine who was an all-pro cornerback for the Eagles during the game. And he was like, man, the issues that the defensive backs are having, I noticed that when they were on that 10-game win streak. So maybe as a coaching staff, they ignored in victory what they shouldn't have ignored. So I don't know the reason, but let's keep in mind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they get paid too. Baker Mayfield, again, I'm not going to sit up here and say he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but there's also a reason why he went in the first round. There's also a reason why he won the Heisman. Like, he knows how to play football. So I think just everything fell right for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday when they took on the Eagles.
The great N.D. Kalu, former Texan, now a analyst with the Texans, does a podcast with their kicker and everything. He does all kinds of stuff. The San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer. Always great to catch up, my friend. We'll talk to you next week.
So for the next 3 weeks, we'll just talk Texans. I guess we don't talk Cowboys.
Always talk Cowboys, my friend.
Always talk Cowboys. We talk Eagles. We talk Buccaneers. Yeah. Football talk with ND next Tuesday.
All right. I'll talk to y'all next week.
Appreciate it. ND Kalu on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Always talking Cowboys. We'll get more into the Cowboys talk as we continue. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Ronnie on hold for an hour and 45. We see you there. We'll take your call, I think, coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
That's awesome. You guys hang on. We'll talk to you. And I do want to talk right now, though, about life's unexpected curveballs. You ever been hit with challenges that kind of leave your smile in the dust? I got something uplifting for you from Doctor's Implants. You know, life can throw some serious hurdles our way. And at Doctor's Implants, they meet patients every day facing the fallout of medical conditions causing their teeth to go south. But here's the scoop. At Doctor's Implants, they're on a mission to bring back your smile no matter what life has thrown your way. So if health-related dental problems have been holding you back, don't lose hope. Doctor's Implants is your ticket to a fresh start. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com. And when you dial 210-640-0000, mention that I sent you, Joe Reinigle from the Blitz. That's your key to a complimentary consultation and CT scan. Don't let life's challenges steal your smile. Call Doctor's Implants today, 210-640-0000.
It's R&R in the morning.
Wednesday on R&R in the morning, the ramifications of a huge loss continues. Mike McCarthy still here? How about Dak getting faded? What about CD? So many questions in so little time. And oh yeah, Spurs are going to get busy again.
Meanwhile, Texas has a team playing in the NFL playoffs. CJ Stroud and Nico Ryans head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. We are very excited about it. Get the coffee. We start at 6.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I wish I could get this stupid jar open.
Jars can be tough, am I right?
Who are you? And how'd you get in my kitchen?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of easily switching to Progressive and helping you get a discount that honors the time spent with your previous insurer.
Great, but what does that have to do with getting this jar open?
Nothing.
So you can't open this?
Oh, I just do insurance. Jars, I leave to the professionals.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Ask Shireen Williams during the January winter sale, January 12th through the 22nd, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Shireen Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knee, shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatments has arrived, and QC Kinetics has tens and thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get you your life back. And best of all, it's non-surgical. If this is your year to decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now and call QC Kinetics to get a free consultation on the calendar today. Call 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Presents Precious.
Driving cross country in our RV.
This is so much fun, Dad. I don't even need to look at my phone.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. Jinx!
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure that RV is always ready to hit the road. Who knows, your teenager might actually put down her phone for 5 minutes. It could happen. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, Affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. there is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is breaking this afternoon. The Ohio State Buckeyes have hired A&M Athletic Director Ross Bjork as their new athletic director. What's next for the Dallas Cowboys after their embarrassing exit in the first round against the Green Bay Packers? Still no word on Mike McCarthy's future. Dan Quinn got a lot of interviews, including the Seattle Seahawks, coming up this week. The Texans still alive. They'll take on the Ravens in Baltimore Saturday, 3:30.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on a Tuesday afternoon.
He's still sad? Has it sunk in yet?
No.
It should have about, midway through the second quarter.
I mean, look. That's about when we all knew it was over.
Uh-huh.
And when I say we all knew it was over, everybody knew it was over.
You guys get to work on the Packers?
We were already in here, so we were doing it that day. We had mixed in a little bit earlier in the week, hitting up a couple of teams, but started really focusing on them halfway through the second quarter. Then they scored at the end of the second quarter, so I kind of did both at halftime, and then third quarter I was set on one team.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan at halftime. All right, well, we know who we're playing.
No, at halftime, they were focusing on Green Bay midway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
So they didn't wait till halftime.
Well, and they had no reason to. And quite honestly, while the final score was 48-32, it wasn't that close. And at no point did you ever think, and I was in the stadium, I don't think anybody in there thought, oh, hell, man, we might see an historic comeback. Right? That was never there. And the fact the Packers trying to get the 50 burger, just trying to add to it, salt to the wound. There's so much to digest with a collapse like that, an embarrassing loss at home when you work all that, do everything falls your way, and you get home field where you had won 16 straight games. They're so much better on turf in that stadium. All of that. And you go out and get embarrassed that way. And I know I said a week ago, all last week when there were rumors about Mike McCarthy's job, no way Mike after 12 wins again, and the performance you got from Dak Prescott this year, MVP type season, and he's probably going to finish second or third in the MVP balloting, which is a regular season award. Playoff Prescott shows up, and the results what we've seen from Dak when it comes to the postseason. But I didn't think Mike McCarthy's job was in jeopardy. And like I said last week, unless they go out and they get embarrassed. They went out and they got embarrassed. I don't know how Jerry Jones keeps Mike McCarthy at this point.
Well, some of us were ahead of the curve because we said if they lose this game, he should be fired. And I still believe that.
I think that's the same thing, right?
Well, no, it's not the same thing.
Okay.
They
lost.
They didn't even have to get
fired.
embarrassed. They just had to lose. So it's not the same thing. Because you're at home. You've won 16 straight. You're the number 2 seed. You got the Green Bay Packers coming in that are lucky to be in the playoffs. And for you to get smoked the way that they got smoked. And quite frankly, the Cowboys just they were playing afraid to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy. From Dak Prescott to everybody, that defense, I mean, we can talk about them all. The Cowboys were afraid to lose that game, and they were playing like it. They weren't out there playing to win.
Nobody handled pressure. CeeDee Lamb with drops. Defense was awful. Play calling wasn't good. in the stadium, you don't get the view of the television camera shots and the commentary that goes along with it. But when I see one of the guys that works in this building who is not a noted sports fan making fun of Mike McCarthy and his menu card and the look on his face, I can only imagine how bad it must have been on television. And all I can tell you is in the stadium, it was far worse. Now, I look at that performance. I think Mike McCarthy has to go now. You think Mike McCarthy has to go. Ronnie says here on the screen, you want to keep Mike McCarthy. Why?
Hey, Jason. Joe finally got under my skin enough to make me call in. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, what the hell took so long? You've got some thick skin.
Yeah.
It's just now that Joe finally got under your skin.
I mean, you're right. I just kept waiting for the Cowboys to prove wrong. Obviously, it was a total collapse on Sunday. And you know what? It's not about keeping Mike McCarthy. It's about replacing what he's done for the team. I mean, the fact is, Dak had his best season this year, first or second in total yards passing, led the league in touchdowns, cut down on his interceptions. Players all across the league talked about how great he was, and that's because Mike McCarthy took over play calling.
Yep.
So what do? You get rid of Mike McCarthy. Okay, then what? See, that's the thing, Joe. All you're doing is talking about getting rid of the guy, but you're not offering any solutions to make it better. Look, Dan Quinn, he's got to take a lot of the blame. So change is going to happen there. He's going to take another job. Somebody's going to take him off of our hands. Fine. But, you lose your defensive coordinator and your offense. Shotty's not going to take over that job. It's Mike McCarthy that's leading that team. And as far as culture is concerned, those guys love Mike McCarthy. So it's just difficult for me to say, hey, he's got to go. I get it. And the other thing, it's a big factor to me, is that Jerry Jones, 81 years old, man. Are we talking about rebuild again? It's like I can't go through that again. That's the problem with getting rid of Mike McCarthy.
Ronnie, I appreciate you, man. And you waited on a whole damn near 2 hours for that.
Love you, Ronnie.
And I get it. And I think the rock in the hard place is Ronnie right now. I mean, you want to start over, but you don't want to go through that. But can we go through doing the same thing over and over and over again? Mike McCarthy was hired with the idea that he's a Super Bowl winning coach that is going to get this from Jason Garrett, who couldn't get to the Super Bowl, to get to the Super Bowl, yet it's another first-round exit from Mike McCarthy. Regular season wins are great. I don't give a damn about that. I'd rather have Dak Prescott in the middle of the pack with yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. He could lead the league in interceptions. I don't care if he can lead us to a Super Bowl. I just, the playoff Prescott, and I coined that, 3 years ago? It's not a compliment.
No.
And I know I get the label as the Dak supporter. I'm not. I deal in reality. I look at his contract, and I've got to figure out, and what I try to say here is, how do the Cowboys figure out how to win with Dak as your quarterback? You know what he's got. You know what his ceiling is. You know he's not capable of putting a team on his back and willing them to a win. That just doesn't happen, especially in the postseason. So what can you do to build a team around Dak that amplifies what he does do well? And that should have been a great defense.
And what is that? What does he do well?
Oh, stop.
I'm asking the question.
Dude, he's a great quarterback.
Oh, yeah?
He
looked like a second-rate USFL guy
so are you
on Sunday.
Are you taking what you saw Sunday and just applying that to Dak's career? Because that's idiotic.
I'm taking in the playoffs, that's Dak Prescott. That's him.
Well, yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. So obviously,
Prescott.
Cowboy fans are very happy with just 12-5.
No.
Happy with that?
No.
So why make any changes? Let's just go status quo. We'll be the best team in the regular season, and the hell with the playoffs.
Do you get a regular season? Oh, yeah, you get a hat, right? And a T-shirt?
Apparently, yeah. I mean, you're NFC East Division champs.
Mm-hmm.
We should hang that banner. Let's get a T-shirt. Let's get a hat. Because that's all Cowboy fans seem to want. You want to keep Mike McCarthy, keep him. Dak Prescott will be a great regular season quarterback like he always is, and he'll fold like a chair come the playoffs. That's what he does.
Claymore, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, man. The fact that we're having this conversation and Mike McCarthy 48 hours later is yet to be fired tells you everything you need to know. After the Cowboys lost the way that they did, I mean, I'm just trying to find out again what justification would there be, what they need to be doing. If you're able to somehow pry away Mike Tomlin from the Pittsburgh Steelers, give up a first-round pick, whatever you got to do to get somebody like him, because every year he seems to overachieves with less talent. Cowboys has got the talent, we all know that. But they just need a leader of men that can just get them over the hump. If you can't get Mike Tomlin, then go after Jim Harbaugh. Thanks, guys. I'll hang up and listen.
Claymore, appreciate the phone call. Mike Tomlin and his playoff success in recent years has Pittsburgh fans wanting a change there, right? Now, I'd love to have a Mike Tomlin. Is it worth the first-round pick? I'd love to be, if we're make-believe. You know, look at the teams that are picking in the top 5. Any of them want to trade that pick for Dak Prescott and take that contract? We could do that today.
That'd be great.
Now, granted, Dak has a no trade clause, so
yes,
you know he would have to waive that.
And that's Jerry's fault.
Dak has all the leverage right now. Claymore, to your idea, and I do have a thought on that. 48 hours later, and Mike McCarthy still has his job. You're not going to fire a coach. You're not going to fire Mike McCarthy if you don't think you're replacing him with somebody better. I don't think that Mike McCarthy is going to twist in the wind like Jason Garrett did a couple of 3 years ago. Remember when, you know, it took forever for Jason Garrett, who was going to the office. Everybody knew he was fired. But I do got to believe, I have no knowledge of this, but I've got to believe that Jerry, Steven, or somebody within the organization is on the phone with different agents that they might have interest in, different people. What's the term? Back channel conversations. I got to believe that is going on, and that will factor in on the decision on whether or not they fire Mike McCarthy.
You know who Jerry wants? He wants to make a splash and get a guy like a Bill Belichick in there. That's what he wants. And that's what he wants to do. Look, a lot of the, and I'm not going to sit here, and I love Jerry Jones, but a lot of this is his fault. The reason you're stuck with Dak Prescott is because of Jerry Jones and the contract situation that he's in right now. So it's very difficult to rip the Band-Aid off on Dak and eat $60 million next year. So you're stuck with him. So Mike McCarthy, look, this is not a 10-year plan. And it shouldn't be, or a 30-year plan in the case of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you got to get, if Mike McCarthy can't get the job done, then somebody else has got to come in and give it a shot. You can't wait 10 years like you did with Jason Garrett. No. All right, it's been 4 great regular season, horrible in the playoffs. And the fact that your team was uninspired and looked scared, quite frankly, in front of their home crowd on national television, and I thought it was great. Because you got the Fox crew. Oh, well, you know, if they could just score here, maybe it's a bowl game. That's what they were saying. Oh, if they could just do it here, and then, well, pick 6, and it was over. And so, I mean, if he can't get it done in 4 years, then somebody else has got to give it a shot. You can't continue on doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star. We've got some tickets to give away right now. What are we giving away, Pledge? You want to do Bush? Oh, this is going to be a great show coming to Freeman Coliseum. I saw this announced earlier today.
Yeah.
Man, Bush, Jerry Cantrell. Now, I know, Brian Engel, you're not going to know who
I've
Jerry
heard of
Cantrell
Bush.
is.
Yeah, I've heard of Jerry Cantrell.
Really?
I can't tell you what they sing or what they do.
Well,
but
Jerry Cantrell is with Alice in Chains, but he also does some solo projects. And
maybe that's where I've heard
when
from.
I go see Alice in Chains, I always try to get my tickets close to the stage on the right side, which is where he's going to be, because he'll be on the left side. So I want to be on the right side. So
does Alice know that he's taking off on his own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they know. So I mean, Jerry Cantrell is phenomenal. The big Jerry Cantrell fan. Plus, they've got Candlebox on the on the bill as well. Candlebox, Kevin Martin, their lead singer, San Antonio guy, went to MacArthur High School. back in the day. You've heard of Candlebox too.
Yeah, I have actually.
Okay.
I don't know what that, because either you or Pledge has mentioned them, so that's the only reason.
That's going to be a hell of a show. Bush,
Are
the
you
greatest
going?
hits tour, September 4th.
You
at
going?
Freeman Coliseum.
Yeah.
Because I'm caller number 9 right now at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 9, the tickets are yours. If you don't win them, get them at livenation.com. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans, a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Freezing temperatures outside, broken pipes everywhere, including here at the radio station. We've had a pipe freeze and break. You know who we called here at the station? Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. At Quarter Moon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios, and if you've got a pipe that's broken in your house, yeah, that's pretty bad. They'll get you taken care of. Full service, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission, sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. Pipe breaks, problem with your plumbing, heater's not working right, 210-651-5899 is the phone number, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
My daughter is normally a little goofball, but after a bad night's sleep, she's too tired to be anything. That's why I trust Pure Z's Kids. Pure Z's Kids is mindfully formulated just for kids. Their non-habit forming, drug-free products help my daughter fall asleep naturally, giving her the rest to be her best.
I'm a dinosaur.
Her best dinosaur.
Pure Z's Kids, for ages 4 and up when needed. Explore our products at zquill.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
I love San Antonio, man. I love it.
On 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix.
Howdy.
Howdy. You think Ross Bjork, when he gets introduced at Ohio State as the new athletic director, he starts off saying howdy?
I don't think so. Howdy. Every school's got a thing, right? A howdy that they do, I would assume.
Yeah.
So whatever that is that Ohio State does, you think his first order of business will be to fire Ryan Day?
Are you kidding?
I don't know. Ohio State fans not happy with that guy.
It's Ross Bjork. You give him a new contract with a ridiculous buyout and you fire him a year after that.
You go.
I mean, that's the Ross Bjork way. And then you get a better job out of it.
Interesting.
Or is it a better job? I mean, it's so.
Yes. Yes. Athletics-wise?
You think Ohio State, athletics-wise, in the Big Ten is a better job than Texas A&M?
I think they've had more success than Texas A&M, yes. Now, they can't beat Michigan, but other than that, they can beat everybody else.
Yeah, but when Jim is coaching in the NFL, maybe in North Texas, because remember for a while, Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State. I mean, Jim Harbaugh damn near got fired from that job because it couldn't beat Ohio State.
That's a game you have to win.
But honestly, I'm partial. And I hate the weather outside right now. Man, I cannot stand being cold. So the idea of living in College Station or living in Columbus, and I've never been to Columbus. I don't want to. I don't want to go there. I just, to live in the state of Ohio, where it's cold, where it's snowy, where what we're dealing with right now, which is going to be a miserable 3 days, is 3 months of normal.
Dude, it's coming back all week. We're going to get one good day, and it's going to get cold again.
What?
Yeah.
When?
Well, I think, was it Thursday? It's supposed to be 70, and then another front's coming through.
But is it going to be stupid cold like this?
Dude, I don't know. Do I look like a weather guy?
Well, yes, Mr. Taylor, you do, actually. Or you're mistaken as the weather guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I try.
I don't know if look, the best part about Sunday and going to the Cowboys game was the weatherman was wrong.
Well, okay. Does that surprise you?
Well, no. Although Bill Taylor has given me crap for trusting the weather on my phone app. Right?
Yes.
So now I got on that plane. I was on a noon flight Sunday up to Dallas, and my flight home was at 10:30. And I knew what I was risking by getting on that plane and going to the game. But my fault. I was so geeked up for this game and so sure that the Cowboys were going to win. I wanted to be there and watch them win a playoff game.
Yeah, you were
beat
the
Packers.
Discounting the Packers.
I was.
You were.
I mean, it's the Packers. I know they're good, but it's not Aaron Rodgers over there. Although Jordan Love played better or as good as Aaron Rodgers has done in that building, right?
Yeah.
So, but the forecast kept changing. But my phone, on my Apple phone, kept saying there was no precipitation. Then I would check like some of the Dallas TV station, and they're talking about the weather could get bad around 4 or 5, with a lot of sleep. And then you're figuring, okay, well, how do I get back to the airport? And if the roads are, and you're getting in an Uber and all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of looked at it and I was like, worth it. But the roads were fine. It was just stupid cold. It was like 11 degrees when we walked outside, and we got in the car. Some friends of ours drove us to the airport, which was great. And so now I've got a couple, 3 hours sitting at the airport. And we're at the Dallas Cowboys club at the airport eating pizza, watching a real football game, which was entertaining. And our flight, I just kept waiting for it to get canceled, because then it's like, all right, do we rent a car and go home? Some people that were at the airport, they were on a 7:30 flight that got canceled, and Southwest Airlines rebooked them for Thursday.
Oh, no.
Like, dude, you could walk from Dallas to San Antonio before Thursday.
For Thursday?
Well, they've got to have seats on a flight.
Well, sure, but what the hell are you going to do till Thursday?
Get a room. Well, and also they were expecting more cancellations on Monday and Tuesday, because the weather up there did get nasty with the snow and the ice. And our flight, we left on time. And I saw the guy with the worst job at Love Field at the Dallas airport, because as we back out and we're getting ready to fly, they're like, oh, we got to de-ice. Now, I have seen the trucks come with the de-ice machine, and it's got like this robotic cannon on there, and they de-ice. There was some dude in a bucket truck and a fire hose. Outside, it's 11 degrees, and he's spraying down the airplane. That has to be the worst job at Love Field.
I'm sure it is, but you're happy with that guy because you don't want ice on the wings. So you're very happy with, and I can see it. Look, even in Dallas, you're going to have your periods of this, but it's not going to happen in the entire winter.
Sure.
So, you're not going to invest in a bunch of, fancy equipment to de-ice the planes. You just got some dude with a knit hat on and a fire hose.
Dude, that guy looked miserable.
I'm sure he was.
I mean, like really, I think the guy that's in charge of cleaning the toilets has a better job than that guy.
Well, he's a hell of a lot warmer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be the same guy. You know what else for your other crappy assignment, duties as assigned, pun intended, get in the bucket truck and spray down the wings.
Dude, but I mean, that guy is probably the most important guy at the airport for that particular day.
I agree.
Now, he's got the most important job. You better hope that he's on his game and he's not sitting back while he's cleaning the toilets, drinking some Jack Daniels.
As long as whatever it takes to stay warm, as long as the truck, because I've never seen, the truck is coming that close to the plane. Just don't hit it. You don't slide on ice and hit the plane, right? But he's sitting there, and I started thinking about this. And I'm not an aviation expert by any stretch of the imagination, right? We're de-icing the plane so we can take off. We go up, and the air is a lot colder. What keeps ice from forming on the plane while you're in flight?
Well, nothing, but you don't want to start out with that, right?
Well, we can't transport ice from one city to another?
Well, no.
And if those engines are so hot, why doesn't that just melt all the ice to begin with?
Well, maybe it does once you're in flight. I don't know. I would love to know the answer to that. I'm gonna have to Google that, but why they do that? Because obviously it makes the plane heavier. It's like snow on your roof. You don't want that either.
Sure,
because it's too heavy. But I'm just if they say we got to de-ice the plane, you do it.
Well, that's it. We're de-icing the plane.
De-ice the plane if that makes it happy.
That poor dude in the bucket,
or makes it safer.
It makes it. Look, I'm always a fan. When the pilot says we can't fly, I trust you. Whatever the mechanical issue is, if the pilot's not willing to take off, I'm good with his decision. Right?
Oh, and no doubt. You have to do that. I'm looking this up here. Airplane wings are designed in a specific shape so they can take off safely. Snow and ice change the shape of the wings, which can diminish the effectiveness of the wing's lift. So maybe once you're airborne, it doesn't matter. It's just taking off.
I don't know if there was enough ice there to change the shape.
I'm just saying.
I mean, we're not in Minneapolis.
That's why they do it. I mean, it hinders the ability of the plane to fly.
And then we land, and, it's like midnight. And, like I'm seeing all the street closures and freezing ice in San Antonio. The roads were fine.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? And I mean, even yesterday, I got a text from the garbage folks. Well, due to the weather and we can't make it today. I'm like, it was beautiful.
Well, beautiful is an understatement. I don't know that I would use the term beautiful. This sucks. I hate being cold, but you still could have come and got the trash. Mailman still delivered.
Well, that's their job. Snow, ice, rain, whatever, they have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay because the garbage guys came today, so it's all right.
Oh, that's
instead.
Good. I don't know what that means, Pledge.
Yes, I have. But I don't normally play. So Pledge is put up on the screen. Joe, have you ever hit a thin shot in this weather? He's talking about golf. And it really hurts your hands. But I try not to play golf when it's cold.
Yeah, no, Joe's never done this. He wouldn't play golf in this.
Well, there was a time where I had to.
Well,
and there was a time when I was younger where I was stupid enough to do it.
Yeah.
But now, no. I don't like golf in cold weather because first of all, you get too many clothes on.
Here we go.
Second of all, it's cold. I mean,
that's first of all, and second, and third.
So
that's
it.
Didn't you play in a tournament not long ago? You and Bill Taylor and a bunch of people.
Oh my gosh.
And 2 holes in, you said, "Screw this."
No, that was it. Yeah, it was a tournament several years ago when the TPC course first opened, and we were excited as hell to go play that golf course.
Yep,
because it's the one that the pros play on.
Yeah.
It was so damn cold. Yeah, after 3 holes, we said, "Screw this."
Yeah, I was playing in a tournament couple years ago with April Lancira, Coletta Rodriguez, and Roman Garcia, and about 3-4 holes in. Yeah, this is stupid.
No, it's just dumb.
This is dumb.
So yeah, I'm not falling for that banana in the tailpipe. Exactly.
Yeah. Cowboys, you want to get it off your chest? Who's to blame? Who needs to go? Who do you want to be the head coach if it's not Mike McCarthy? Your calls as we continue here on the Blitz. 210-656 ESPN 656-3776. Question for you. When was the last time you went to the dentist? Do you need a new dentist? You need to go see my dentist, Dr. Smith, over at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Now, I've been a patient of Dr. Smith for about 5 years. So there was about a 3-year window I didn't go see him. Not that I went and saw any other dentist. I just didn't go for a while. And when I finally went back, I got a crown over the holidays. Everything else was good. He's got me started. We're going to do the Invisalign process. But I went back to Dr. Smith, one, because I like him. Former military guy that doesn't lecture you. Does what you need to do. He's great at what he does. My wife is also a patient. Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces is a general and family dental practice. From cleaning and whitening to crowns, fillings, dental implants, wisdom teeth extraction, Smile Structure can handle every aspect of your dentistry needs. They offer general anesthesia, sedation, even cosmetic dentistry. And right now, you can get a free exam and x-rays when you mention 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Medicaid and all PPO insurance is accepted. They offer a dental savings plan if you don't have dental insurance. And Smile Structure, veteran-owned and operated, they offer discounts to uninsured veterans. 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
It's R&R in the morning.
Wednesday on R&R in the morning, the ramifications of a huge loss continue. Is Mike McCarthy still here? How about Dak getting paid? And what about CD? So many questions in so little time. And oh, yeah, Spurs are going to get busy again.
Meanwhile, Texas has a team playing in the NFL playoffs. CJ Stroud and Nico Ryans head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. We are very excited about it. Get the coffee. We start at 6.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinigle. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate, 210-785-0994, or go online at stevensroofing.net.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Hey poker players, the Big Blind is open with a true Vegas feel. The Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
This is the home of the Aggies. And this is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Appreciate you, Andrew. Speaking of the Aggies, you're just getting by the radio. Ross Bjork out as athletic director at Texas A&M. He quit to go be the athletic director at the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University.
Ohio State University.
Wow.
Can you imagine voluntarily deciding, you know what, I'm going to move from Texas to Ohio?
Well, I'm sure
I already question the man's decision-making skills.
I'm sure the salary was a little bit better. I'm just saying.
I mean, not that we know that, but I mean, already stupid rich making.
Well, why would you leave A&M if the salary wasn't better?
Well, I'm sure it's a bit of a raise, but
I'm
A&M
sure it
could have-
is.
Why would you leave Texas to go to Ohio?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I can question a lot of people.
I wouldn't.
And I think a lot of people might change jobs for dumb reasons. But I don't know that I could move from Texas to Ohio.
Money, 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 money.
Well, there's that. You can buy a coat. Is he making enough money to have heated floors?
Oh, my gosh. Is it that cold in Ohio?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I guess. I've been to Cleveland. It's the only place I've been in Ohio.
Yeah? Was that during the finals?
It was.
I don't think it was snowy then.
No.
That
but
must have been June.
It was still crappy.
Well, it's Ohio.
Yeah, it's Cleveland.
Yeah. Speaking of crappy, Cowboys ended their season in crappy fashion as usual.
As usual, that's right.
Well,
so let's keep doing the same things we've been doing for 30 years.
It's 28. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Let's see. Pat, you've been on hold the longest. Pat, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I just wanted to say there's one proven coach out there, and he proved it to the whole nation on Sunday on television. And any true Cowboy fan would love to have him back, and that'd be Jimmy Johnson.
You know what? That was a great speech. I saw that live watching the game, and it was a great speech. I don't think Jimmy wants to coach. I mean, he's got a hell of a gig now. Flies into New York or wherever they're doing the show from, and then flies back to Miami and gets on his boat.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Is that where they do it?
Yeah. Jimmy isn't the answer.
That was a hell of a speech, though.
I saw it on Twitter because I was at the game.
And he was pissed.
Well, yes, everybody should be. It was disgusting. I could only imagine what Jerry and Steven were like at halftime. Because I know what it was like in the stadium. And, from where my seats were, I kept looking up to the right going, man, it looks right. I see it. It's there. I thought putting your name up there, Jimmy Johnson, was gonna change everything. The curse of Jimmy Johnson.
Can't blame the curse anymore, can you?
Son of a, is it the curse of Barry Switzer? Jason Garrett, whose name needs to go up there?
Not sure, but hey, they showed Jerry and Steven quite a bit on the broadcast, and neither one of them looked very happy.
Joel, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Yeah, I want to see John Gruden as the head coach, man.
Wow.
John Gruden.
Wow.
You know what? There are worse ideas.
I mean,
John Gruden's a hell of a coach.
He's got some attitude, and I'd say if we can't get him, look back into getting Brian Flores, who was let go a couple years ago from Miami. I liked him.
Yeah, I don't know until all his legal stuff with the NFL is completely worked out, he'll be back as a head coach. I've never heard that there was any resolution of that. I know he's
defensive coordinator.
Is it? It's not still Pittsburgh. I know
doesn't matter. I don't think Flores is the answer, honestly. An offensive coach, you've got. Do you go different? Look, Dan Quinn's not the guy either. I think Dan Quinn was exposed, not just against Green Bay, but towards the latter half of the season. That defense was not anywhere near as good in the back half of the season as it was in the beginning.
Injuries certainly took their toll. And the loss of Leighton Vander Esch was certainly felt.
Who?
Yeah, Leighton Vander Esch. And I know a lot of people were a little surprised, but I do think the drop-off wasn't Diggs, but it was the injury to Leighton Vander Esch that really changed things. One, he could actually tackle and kind of a run stopper. But two, he was the quarterback of the defense. He was the green dot guy. And then you had a converted safety that was now trying to fill that role and too small of a guy to really be much of a run stopper. I mean, that loss of LVE, far more impactful than I think most people realized at the time.
And he's probably done.
Or even realize now. And
unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he might be done. Is that Balker?
Yeah, that's correct. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there, man.
I feel you.
Yeah, I got to take on this one. Yeah, I mean, we all know that two names mentioned, Bill or
him and Michael Vrabel. How come we can't bring in Bill and bring Mike Vrabel to run the defense and make him a top assistant head coach? So whenever Bill leaves in 2 years, Mike can take over. You're right with Dan Quinn. He shouldn't be the coach of the Cowboys. He got exposed. He can't even beat his assistants that were in Atlanta with him. Like y'all were saying earlier, he's like 0-6 with them. He's 0-6 against San Francisco. Team he lost to the Dolphins, I believe, and he lost to the Packers, obviously, the last game. They were all his assistants in Atlanta, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, and again, he hasn't shown that. I don't think it's Dan Quinn at this point. I mean, although Dan Quinn wouldn't run the offense, but his defense, and again, is it injuries? Is it personnel? Is it style? He had a bad game plan. And I've got to believe that Mike McCarthy signed off on the game plan, or Mike McCarthy doesn't have the authority to sign off on it. But that was a bad plan.
Bingo.
And it was a bad plan. After the first drive, you could sense they're running the ball. I mean, Aaron Jones has had a field day against the Cowboys, and his best game this season was on Sunday in the biggest game of the season for the Green Bay Packers. And the Dallas Cowboys never adjusted to stop the run. Well, and they didn't cover anybody when that's
a trifecta.
Well, I mean, Dak was far from great, but I think the defense is more to blame for this loss than the offense.
Well, yeah, we can rehash that if you want. Dak was horrible in the first half. And, a lot of the things that he did created some not some good situations for the Cowboys. But look, going into that game, Dan Quinn's not an idiot. You know that Aaron Jones has had a field day against the Dallas Cowboys the last 3 times he's played them. So it makes no sense to me why you're not stacking the line. Put the pressure on Jordan Love. Make him win the game. You stop the run and make Jordan Love win the game. And that didn't happen. They were able to do whatever they want, whenever they wanted. And it was just, look, Green Bay's not that good. They're not.
They're not.
I mean, they're up and coming. Jordan Love's going to be a good quarterback. But that Green Bay Packer team, although playing well coming in, they were 6th seed for a reason.
Well, 7th.
7th.
And look, I mean, Dak is by no means getting a pass, but that defense was that bad. Green Bay's opening drive, 12 plays, 67 yards, touchdown. The second drive, they punted. Then after the interception, 3 plays, touchdown. Then they had a 10-play, 93-yard drive, touchdown. 5 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 3 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 8 plays, 40 yards, touchdown. Punt, end of game.
What was that play where the tight end was like in a different zip code? I mean, and Jordan Love barely got him the football, but I mean, that was just you talk about a blown defense.
And you saw that all day. Receivers were wide open. My seats at the stadium were in the end zone. So it's like watching the All-22, which is great because you can see plays develop. And when you see all the defensive backs and whatever it is they were trying to do, but with 10, 12-yard cushions, and then you see the pass in the air and the lack of burst to the football. It's like watching a car wreck in slow motion and you see the car coming at you. It's icy outside, and you watch all these different videos on Instagram or whatever, and you see the car just sliding right to it. That's what it looked like. Those receivers were so wide open. And because so many defensive backs, there wasn't a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. And when they decided to hand the ball off, Aaron Jones was 12 yards down the field before anybody bothered to touch him. It was awful.
That guy had to be just drooling going into that game, knowing the success that he's had against the Dallas Cowboys. And you would think that Dan Quinn might want to stop one or the other. And he didn't do either.
No.
I mean, stack the line and put the game in Jordan Love's hands. Maybe Jordan Love comes through. That's a possibility. But at least you stop the run and you make them one-dimensional.
Joseph, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
How y'all doing, guys?
Fantastic.
Well, first of all, I have to agree. The defense was atrocious. It was. And that is the primary reason why they lost. Sure, Dak threw an interception. He threw a pick six. Cool. There's, 14 points off of there. but the defense could not stop anybody. Even Jesus couldn't help the Cowboys that damn game. For whatever reason, Dan Quinn dropped the ball, and he's been exposed ever since that Seattle game where they dropped 30+ on the Cowboys in AT&T. And ever since then, the Cowboys have sucked on defense, period.
You know, it's there.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
true.
And I'm half tongue in cheek as I say this. It's a little irresponsible of me, but you know that defensive game plan looked like Dan Quinn had already called the movers and needed the season to end so he could start his new job in Seattle. I know that's not true. I know I probably shouldn't say that.
Sure,
but
you can.
That's how it felt.
Well, it was horrible. It was the worst defensive performance of the season.
And zero adjustment.
But this guy, the last caller hit the nail on the head. It wasn't just this game. The defense hasn't been good for the last 5-6 games of the season. It just hasn't been.
I mean, they were good against Miami. They were.
Well,
good.
we saw Miami may not be the team that everybody thought they were.
Well, I mean, I mean, to a degree, I think I want to credit the Kansas City defense, which is good, and you know, it was none degrees. But I mean, to hold that Miami offense to
it was minus none degrees
to 22 points in Miami. I think they played well against Detroit. They didn't play well against Seattle. And they haven't been great. They've been hanging on
against Buffalo.
But you know what they did in all those games? They played inspired football, and they didn't do that on Sunday. You know, this Cowboys defense, this Cowboys team isn't damn near tough enough, nowhere near tough enough. And when they get hit, they fold.
So whose fault is that? That's the question.
Gino,
and it's not all the coaches.
You're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, guys, I couldn't agree with all you guys. I mean, but my thing is, you know, Dan Quinn, McCarthy, they didn't get the guys ready. But we got to start facing facts. You know, everybody loves Dak. We got Pollard. We got all these question marks, and nobody is addressing. We know what Dak is. Dak is a great quarterback, get you through the season, but he doesn't know how to carry us through the playoffs. And I think we need to really check ourselves this draft season and either make an investment in a quarterback and figure out what our future is going to be. And honestly, I don't want to see us give Dak $60 million a year.
Well, get ready for it.
Yeah, Gino, look at that. You know, Jerry's breaking up your phone there. And the reality is, in dealing in realities, Dak Prescott has all the leverage when it comes to his contract with the Cowboys. He's got a no-trade clause, and he cannot be franchise tagged. So the only way to avoid that $60 million cap hit is to extend him. And you look at the going rate for quarterbacks, he's going to be right up there and reset the market, and everybody's going to lose their mind. But as weird as it is to say, that is the smart business decision. But what the Cowboys have to figure out is, how do you win with Dak Prescott? You know what his ceiling is. You know what his limitations are. But can you build around that to elevate him? And the way this team is built is to get a lead, play with the lead, and let the defense tee off on their opponents when they have to go one-dimensional passing because they're playing from behind. LaFleur knew that. They took the opening kickoff, they marched down the field, and they took the early lead. And, you know, everything went Green Bay's way after that. If the Cowboys get a stop on that first drive, who the hell knows what happens? But clearly the Cowboys aren't constructed the right way to stop the run. They got to address that defensively.
Well, they thought they did, and they drafted Mozzie Smith, and he wasn't it. And Jonathan Hankins, he didn't do any better. And if it's not all Leighton Vander Esch, certainly that would have helped if they had him. But they tried to address the deficiency in the run defense, and obviously it didn't work out at all. So you got to give them credit for at least trying that. Well, but I don't know. You say bring in people. We know what Dak is, and bring in who? You're going to bring in Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk? I mean, because quite frankly, that's what Dak needs, is all those weapons to take the pressure off of him.
He does need a real running game.
He does.
And they didn't have that this year. And that would be one area. They've got a receiver. They've got a tight end.
They're not going to pay for a running back, though.
I don't know that you have to, but you have to have something better than Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, Deuce Vaughn should have never happened anyway.
You can upgrade the running position pretty easily. I still think it's more on the defensive side because in reality, you have a team built for a great regular season. They're not built for playoff success. I think that has been proven. So what changes do they need to make to have playoff success? Because you can't say they weren't successful this year when you look at a 12-5 record, regardless of their opponent, similar to Miami.
Yeah, but when you play a good opponent,
I think you lose. I think Miami is in the same boat. You've great regular season. They're built for October and September, but can they win in January when it's cold? That's where I think you need to look. What do they need to do to try to win against tough teams in pressure situations? We'll talk about that. If you got a phone line, we see you there. Your calls as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's basketball season for most of us now that the Cowboys are done. It's been basketball for a while. If you haven't downloaded the Underdog Fantasy app yet, go do it. It makes watching the game so much more exciting. It's fantasy, but you can win real money playing their pick'em game, and it is legal in Texas. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry, and what you have to do is select whether you think they will be higher or lower on their stats. If your picks hit, you can win big money. You can win up to 100 times your money in a single game, and it is legal in Texas. Underdog is super easy to play and certainly a lot of fun and easy to get started as well. Go download the app or go to the website, underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, you'll have a special pick of higher than a half total yards to use on your first pick'em entry, which is great for the playoffs that are coming up this weekend. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Don't miss out on limited-time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health San Antonio can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive San Antonio. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is business analyst Jill Schlesinger. In today's world, it seems the best treatment is reserved only for a few. Well, Discover wants to change that by making everyone feel special. That's why with your Discover card, You have access to 24/7 live customer service as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Finally, no matter who you are or where you are in your life, you'll feel special with Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
They're local, they're San Antonio, and they know sports. They're R&R in the morning, KTFM Floresville, and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Breaking this afternoon, the Ohio State Buckeyes have hired A&M Athletic Director Ross Bjork as their new athletic director. Victor Wembanyama will be competing in the NBA Skills Challenge on All-Star Weekend. Wemby and the Spurs lost in Atlanta yesterday. Up next at Boston tomorrow night. And the Texas Longhorns and head coach Steve Sarkisian agreed to a 4-year contract extension. Going to run through 2030.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Tuesday afternoon that kind of feels like a Monday.
Little bit, it does. Although you probably wouldn't have been able to make it yesterday.
I would have called in cold.
I'm sure you would have.
I was not a happy camper yesterday.
Like everybody else did today. This place is like a ghost town in here.
It's like another holiday.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Oh, well.
I mean,
I don't blame them.
I mean,
everybody take the day off. It's cold.
We had a pipe burst here in the building.
Yeah, but our crack engineer is on top of that.
Well, I mean, what did Greg Shelton do? He called Quarter Moon Plumbing, and now he's got to wait for the guy.
That's exactly what he did.
All he's told you is, Joe, with your small bladder, good luck.
Well,
no flushing. Use a bottle.
I'm not using a bottle. I'm sure there's a nice yellow stew in the urinal in there. So you just go back and forth. One time the urinal, the other time the toilet. Urinal, toilet, urinal, toilet.
How many times have you peed? We've been here 4 hours.
I haven't done any of that yet.
6 times? Pledge keeps track.
A couple of times, yeah.
Pledge keeps track.
He does, huh? You got a clicker?
you got a chart.
Yeah.
You know, like them coaches that have to do check-ins on stuff like that.
Joe's a good teammate.
I stay hydrated. It's what I do.
It is what you do. Friday, the Blitz is going to be live out at Lucy Cooper's at 281 between Thousand Oaks and Brook Hollow. Flight Friday is what we're calling it.
I like it.
Flight Friday.
Flight Friday.
That's a Flight Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out and start hanging out. We're going to be out there with our friends from Flight by Yingling. Have a lot of great prizes to give away, and we'll get you ready for the playoffs that don't include the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, we're used to that. I mean, you know, we're used to moving on.
We are. And it's kind of one of those, days. All right, get it off your chest. What changes need to be made? What do the Cowboys need to do? All of that. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Shireen Williams will join us about 5:15 here on the Blitz. Jason, great name, man. You're on the Blitz. What's up?
Hey, appreciate it. Good afternoon, guys. I just wanted to touch on what you were talking about a little bit ago with the running game. Personnel-wise, I don't have any problem with Pollard. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot of a problem with the guys up front. But who's looking at McCarthy for calling plays? He ran Pollard up the gut time after time after time without hardly any success. He's been doing it since week one, and when I saw him doing it in week one, I thought, what in the world is he doing? And that's what all he continued to do for the rest of the season and into the playoffs. So, again, I'm not saying the running game is there, but give the guy a chance. Set him up for success. Running him up the middle. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not a big bruiser. You got to put him around the outside, something.
In space, and I think that's why, Tony Pollard is a great 2, or at least have another option. You still have to run your playbook, and I do think at times you'll see coaches trying to run up the middle just to keep defenses honest. If you only ran them to the outside, they would take that away too because they would scheme that way.
Well, Tony Pollard's probably not going to be a Cowboys problem after or next season. He signed the franchise tag, made the $10 million, and turned down a long-term deal. So I don't know if Tony Pollard will be a Dallas Cowboy next year.
There are a lot of decisions. And over the next days and weeks, we'll look at free agents and because Cowboys got a lot of those too. And, some of it could be on that offensive line. There could be a lot of different people on that offensive line that next year as well. Hey, T, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just real quick, if I had my choice for next coach, I would definitely look at Jim Harbaugh. NFL experience, great teams in Michigan, both sides of the ball, and I think his stake. Also, I like what DeMarco Ryan did last year. He took the defensive coordinator, I think, from San Francisco. I think that guy has a young mind. So I think those two guys are viable candidates. And then also, I think you were spot on about the linebacker. Every good team that's in the playoffs have mean linebackers, real physical and tough. I don't see that in Cowboys. I know Parson was great, but I don't know what his role was. He was more of a pass rusher.
Yep.
And then last, why come we don't go out to Derrick Henry, who wants to leave? I think he would be a good fit, not a starter, but he's a downhill bruiser. And I think that's the biggest part of the issue is the Cowboys had too many penalties, and if they had a good running attack and stayed on the field more instead of punting, I think that would help. So anyway, I think Jim Harbaugh is my opinion, is a great candidate and a great fit. So thanks for taking my call, guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thanks
you,
for the call, man. Harbaugh, sure, I think he'd be good, but I think he's going to the Chargers. Just my gut tells me that. He interviewed there yesterday. I think he's going to the Chargers. So I don't know that he's going to be available. And look, if you're Jim Harbaugh, why wouldn't you want to go to the Chargers?
Well, I think you could almost say the same. With Dallas, the problem the curious problem, not wrong word, where I'm curious of with the Chargers is Harbaugh is going to be expensive, and they're notably a very cheap franchise, especially when it comes to paying coaches. Are they at the point where their ownership group is willing to open up the checkbook to get the coach? Right.
There was an article about that where the ownership group said that's a narrative we have to change. Yeah. We don't like that narrative.
Well, because it's true. But until they do otherwise, you wonder. And the fact that he interviewed and wasn't either offered or said, let me talk to this guy. Let me talk to that guy. He's one of those you bring in for the interview. And if things are going well, you're announcing him as your head coach. And I realize in the NFL, it's a little different than in college where, you hear rumors and all of a sudden that afternoon, the guy's on a private jet and wearing a different shirt.
He's going to make a lot of money either way. Still got a huge offer from Michigan on the table.
Yep.
So he may just be screwing with them. Who knows?
Leverage? Harbaugh play games? Never. Brian, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey guys, hey, thank you for taking my call. But I just want to say, like, the NFC East all fed us a bucket of fool's gold. So how well or how good were these teams, both Dallas and the Eagles, getting obliterated in the playoffs? And those two were heavily favored to make the Super Bowl. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, how good were these teams out of the NFC East?
I think the fact that they're both out answers the question for you.
Yeah, the NFC East was not good.
It went from NFC least to NFC beast. Thought it was good, and then it's NFC least.
It's a mirage.
And they're both out in the playoffs that quick. How good are the Bucs?
Eagles were a clown show, man. Seriously.
Down the stretch,
they were.
But 10 wins, you kind of go from there.
Yeah.
You okay over there, James?
It was the first clown show of the show.
Oh. 3 hours, 13 minutes in.
I know.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
I was shocked they didn't use it in the opening rant on the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were a clown show. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Cold outside, more cold weather on the way. If you need to get your logo on some jackets, some hoodies, some coats, outdoor wear, winter wear, Sammy's Embroidery Club, they'll get you taken care of. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. You need that winter gear. Sam has the winter line on display in that massive showroom. If you need caps, he has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands, and he's the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. All items do come with a warranty. Call 210-824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas, presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem, and it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
The Latap Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things Fitness Fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo. Latap Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Ordinary tissues can leave you with a red nose, so choose Puffs Plus Lotion for all of your blows. Puffs have lotion to soothe sensitive skin, so you can wipe without wincing. It's a win-win. Puffs have cushiony thickness, which brings relief too, so the days of sore red noses are gone and through. When you're after soothing softness, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hi,
I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat $1 billion insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, $1 billion insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
The Home Depot makes it easy to shop and save on appliances in-store and online. Enjoy savings on top brands like GE, LG, Frigidaire, Whirlpool, and more. Find kitchen appliances with helpful features like customized organization, and save time with laundry appliances that have faster wash and dry cycles. Shop now and get up to $450 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid January 4th through 24. Gas ranges and dryers extra. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Ordinary tissues can leave you with a red nose, so choose Puffs Plus Lotion for all of your blows. Puffs have lotion to soothe sensitive skin, so you can wipe without wincing. It's a win-win. Puffs have cushiony thickness, which brings relief too, so the days of sore red noses are gone and through. When you're after soothing softness, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Check out the Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
If you're San Antonio, there are benefits that come along with it. I will cut you the front of the line. We're going to hike the return.
On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Postmortem on the Cowboys season. Let's talk about it. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Shireen, hope you're doing your best to stay warm up there in Dallas. Is it colder outside or inside the Star right now?
Or it might be hot at the Star on the hot seat. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's cold there or hot there. So I think we'll probably find out at the end of the week sometime.
Yeah, Shireen, nobody expected what happened on Sunday, to say the least. I expected a more competitive game. I didn't think the Cowboys would blow Green Bay out of the water, but I certainly didn't expect Green Bay to blow Dallas out of the water.
Well, there was one scenario that Mike McCarthy had to avoid. I mean, there's no question he was coming back if he avoided one scenario, and that scenario played out on Sunday at AT&T Stadium. You know, you couldn't get embarrassed in the wild card round, and that's what's happened. They looked like they were outcoached, they were outplayed, they weren't ready to play, all those things that you talk about. I mean, you saw it on Sunday, and you know, as Kyle Shanahan kind of joked about today, he started preparing for the Packers in the second quarter of that game on Sunday because he knew the Cowboys weren't going to come back. And I think everybody pretty much knew when it was 27-0 that the Cowboys weren't going to come back from that. So it was an embarrassment. I mean, I don't know where it ranks. Somebody asked me yesterday where it ranked in their history. It's got to be right there. I mean, it's got to be right there among embarrassments in the postseason. Just the way they were manhandled at home with, 16-0 in their last 16 games at AT&T Stadium, and just to not show up is just you can't explain it. I mean, I just think it's so stunning for everyone. I would guarantee if you asked the Packers, they were surprised that it was that easy for them.
It is unexplainable. As Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joins us here on the Blitz, although we try to explain or try to figure out the why. And the defense, well, Dak was not good by any stretch. That defense was so bad and never made any adjustments. How does a team with a defensive coordinator like Dan Quinn, who's got all these head coaching job opportunities and interviews scheduled for this week, How does the defense come out and play that poorly with that bad of a plan? And kind of a second part to it, does Mike McCarthy have the authority to sign off on that plan, or is it kind of Dan Quinn coaches the defense and his plan is what goes? I just don't understand what we saw defensively.
Yeah, they played more zone than they have. They were played more man during the regular season, and they come out and they played zone and never really adjusted. They never got to the quarterback. I'm just sitting here looking at the defensive stats right now. I mean, these defensive stats are ugly. You go down the sacks, there's nothing there. You go down quarterback hits, there's 3 of them there. Where was Micah Parsons? Two tackles, 1 quarterback hit after talking all that noise last week. Not going to let DQ down. Passes defense, 1. Tackles for loss, 1. Those defensive stats are embarrassing. And you're right, Dak was not good. The offense gave up 14 of those 48 points, but still, most points this team has allowed in franchise history. 38 points a couple times, I think 3 times was the most previously. They give up 10 more than that. Again, I understand Dak gave up a pick 6 and an interception by Alexander at the 19, which was a short touchdown drive. I get all that, but you needed 1 unit to play well, whether it was the offense or the defense. You needed 1 unit to play well, and 1 unit didn't play well. The defense was terrible. The offense was terrible. Sam Williams had the horrible early penalty on special teams. So nobody on this entire team, I mean, if you start searching for somebody who played well, I think you're going to have a hard time naming somebody who played well or coached well in that game. I don't see it. I don't think anybody played well. I don't think anybody coached well in that game. They looked ill prepared. They didn't look like they had a good plan going in, and they didn't look like, as you said, made any adjustments at all in that entire game.
All right, Shireen, this may be simplistic, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. You can hammer me if it is. Is it possible that the Cowboys going into this game, playing at home, 16-game winning streak, Green Bay Packers 7 seed, that they just didn't think it was going to be much of a problem dispatching the Packers?
Maybe. I mean, how else can you explain it? I don't know. I don't know how else you explain it, you know, and if you thought you were going to come out, if you've watched the Packers lately, if you watch the past 4 games before this one and now 5 games that Jordan Love played, I don't know how you watch that film of him and go, this is going to be really easy. I mean, the 4 games before this, he had 9 touchdowns and no interceptions. He now has, in the past 5 games, 12 touchdowns and no interceptions. So if you were watching any kind of film at all, you should have known that this was not going to be a cakewalk. This Packers team has played as a different team the last 4 regular season games. That's why they got into the tournament. So, but I agree with you. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like they thought they were just going to walk out there as the big, bad Dallas Cowboys who never lose at home, and we're just going to show up and we're going to dismantle the Packers pretty easily and walk on into the next second round where we're going to host the Detroit Lions next week. But, it doesn't work like that in the NFL. It doesn't work like that in the postseason. And every team that gets in there is capable, fully capable, except maybe the Eagles, but capable of beating you at any time. But I agree with you. That's exactly what it looked like.
Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk here on the Blitz. Shireen, Dak Prescott has incredible regular season numbers. Postseason's not there. Is it he can't handle the pressure of the postseason? He didn't look sharp. CeeDee Lamb had some early drops in that game. I was in the building, but there were times when they would show Mike McCarthy, he even looked like he was not handling the pressure well. Was there just too much pressure to win this playoff game? And if that's the case, do the Cowboys have the right people in place if they can't handle playoff pressure?
All great questions, right? Dak Prescott now 2-5 in the postseason. So you do have questions about that. Look, 2 of the last 3 years, they're in the wild card round. There's been 1 home playoff team lose in the wild card round. Cowboys did it 2 years ago against the 49ers, a more competitive game, obviously, but still some mismanagement at the end of that game. And this one just flat out blown out. The other home teams win in this round. Serious questions that Jerry Jones has got to be asking. Do I have the right people in place? to have the right quarterback in place. Dak Prescott has a $59.5 million cap hit next year. The only way to lower that is to extend that contract. Are you willing to commit to him for another 3, 4, 5 years at $50 to $55 million a year? I wouldn't be, but that's the only way you're going to lower that cap number. So then what do you do if you don't lower that cap number? I don't know. To me, that puts this team in a huge pickle going forward about who they're going to re-sign, how much they're going to re-sign them for, who they're going to have to let go, all those things. I mean, they've got some serious questions to ask. If Dak would have played well, it would have been a really easy decision. You extend him, you lower that cap number next year, you have plenty of money to re-sign all these players you need to re-sign, including Michael Parsons, all that group of players you need to re-sign. But now I just think they've got some serious questions to ask about the future of this team. Baker Mayfield has 2 playoff wins. He has the same number of playoff wins that Dak Prescott has. And look at what the Bucs are paying him. Now they're going to have to pay more for next year, but they're not going to have to pay him $50 or $55 million. That's for sure. So, serious questions about the future of Dak Prescott, the future, obviously, of Mike McCarthy, and the future of other players on this roster, on this team. I can't imagine Dan Quinn, frankly, being back. And I think he was the succession plan for Jerry Jones for a long time. And I don't think he's back, regardless of whether Mike McCarthy's back or not. I don't think Dan Quinn's back. He either gets a head coaching job. I think it's Kellen Moore a year later. He either gets a head coaching job or they come out and say, hey, we've moved on from Dan Quinn, assuming that they keep Mike McCarthy. And I'm not saying they're going to. I don't think any decisions have been made. I think they're taking their time, just like they did with Jason Garrett, talking to players, talking to assistant coaches, seeing what went wrong, seeing what they need to do, what's best for the organization moving forward. I think they're going to take time to do that. I just went back and looked at when Jason Garrett, because I recalled it being a week, and it was a week. They dismissed, and didn't really dismiss him because his contract was up. But on the next Sunday, so a week from when the season ended, they came out and said Jason Garrett will not be back as our head coach. I think it's going to be that same kind of timeline going forward this year.
Interesting. Well, it's always an interesting offseason when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. That's for sure. And this year is going to be no different at all. As the esteemed Aggie here on the phone, Shireen, I have to ask you about Ross Bjork today, leaving Texas A&M, going to Ohio State. Is there a story behind that?
Well, I'm not surprised. Just the way the Mark Stoops thing went down, the way Ross handled that was a Ross hire on his own. And I think that they came to an agreement at that point that it was time for Ross to go look for a job and move on. And I think that's what happened. And so I think both sides are happy with the way it played out. Ross obviously gets to go to a great program, not just a landing spot, but a great program that he's going to. And A&M gets to start over with another AD, which I think they were ready to do. So I think this worked for both sides. It won't happen obviously until July. He'll finish out the school year, but I think it worked out well for both sides. And I think it's something that both sides saw coming after the end of the Jimbo era.
Yeah. And I remember when they let Jimbo go, I was like, well, who's accountable for giving him that contract and that buyout? Yeah. And there was no penalty. And then you mentioned the Stoops hire. Mm-hmm. So this was kind of a mutual, if you will, or because I'm trying to figure out, why would you leave A&M for Ohio State? Why would you leave Texas to go to Columbus? Where weather like what we're dealing with today is normal for 5 months a year. And I don't know which is a better job, to be honest, right now. Is A&M and the SEC a better job than Ohio State and the Big Ten?
Yeah, well, it's a great question and one for debate, but there are worse jobs, obviously, than Ohio State. So, I think he did well getting the Ohio State job and landing on his feet, so to speak. So he's gone Ole Miss, A&M to Ohio State. And, I really, really like Ross. I really do. From a personal standpoint, I hate seeing him go. He was always very good to me. So I wish him the very best of luck. I mean that from my heart, that I hope he does really well at Ohio State. I'll root for Ohio State as much as I can because he's there. So he made some really good coaching hires in other sports besides football. It's not just all about football. And I think he made some really good hires and did some good things. Was a great fundraiser at A&M.
But all in all, from an Aggie perspective, this is a good day for Texas A&M that he's not going to be the athletic director.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think it was time for both sides to go their separate ways after the contract to Jimbo and then the way the Mark Stoops thing was handled. I think it was time for a parting, and that happens in this business. You like somebody, and sometimes, it's the Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft. Not that Ross Bjork stayed at A&M 24 years, but same sort of deal. Like sometimes it's just time to go separate ways, and you still like each other and all that, but it's time to split up, and it's best for both sides to move on. And I think that's what happened in New England, and I think that's what happened at A&M today.
Distinguished alum from Texas A&M and reader at ProFootballTalk.com. Shireen Williams, follow her on Twitter at NFL Shireen. Always appreciate the knowledge and insight.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Shireen Williams on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.
Interesting. So Ross Bjork's out, and the Aggies are happy about it.
From Shireen Williams.
Yes.
And if Mother Football says that,
absolutely,
that is
Aggie.
gold. Distinguished alum, sir.
Distinguished alum.
Yeah,
not esteemed Aggie.
Well, the award is distinguished alum.
Oh,
that very few people actually get.
Okay. Well,
all Aggies are esteemed. Just ask them.
Well, exactly. Kind of like Cowboy fan.
No, we're steamed.
We're steamed.
That's very, very different. If
Green
you're
Bay
still
was not gonna be a
steamed
problem.
on the Cowboys, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. More of your calls coming up here on the Blitz. Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to an Ortho Now injury clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing, everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Lowe's knows pros want savings now. That's why, as an MVP's Pro Rewards member, you get volume savings on orders of $1,500 or more at the Pro Desk. And there's more. We've lowered our prices on select top products like electrical wire and drywall, so you can get the job necessities for less. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. In-store only. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
a new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive San Antonio. We know we can help you. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Cowboys play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, I guess we could hit that one in the pause button until August. Cowboys play here. Son of that pissed me off.
Wow.
I mean, they still do, don't they?
I mean, we are the home of the Dallas Cowboys, but they don't play here anymore because they're officially fishing.
Proud to be
the
home of the Dallas Cowboys, though. That's okay. Proud
We
to
are.
be. And, there's always next year, Jason.
Well, we get these little promos that we're supposed to read every day. And, James Pledger puts these together, by the way. You're home for the Dallas Cowboys. It's playoff time. The Dallas Cowboys are off to the divisional round of the playoffs where they will play. And then it's just blank as if I'm supposed to read this. I'm not Rob. I'm not Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
How many times did Rob read this morning?
I wrote that before I left for the weekend.
Oh.
So Pledge was assuming the Cowboys were going to take care of business.
The same way y'all did with your next days.
Exactly.
Ben Brasino on YouTube say, did I hear Shireen say Shanahan started game planning for Green Bay in the second quarter? He did.
Yeah, he did.
And look, I mean, you heard it from Shireen. You could hear it from Kyle Shanahan.
You guys get to work on the Packers? We were already in here. So, we were doing it that day. We had mixed in a little bit earlier in the week, hitting up a couple of teams, but started really focusing on them halfway through the second quarter. Then they scored at the end of the second quarter. So I kind of did both at halftime, and then third quarter, I was set on one team.
That is funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that really is. And I'm sure that Shanahan's very happy that he was able to get a jump start on preparing for the Green Bay Packers early.
And to be honest, I mean, I was at the game. I don't know anybody there that thought we were going to see some incredible comeback. Even when the Cowboys were coming back, I don't know that anybody thought that they were going to come back, even when they got within 2 scores at 16. I mean, to make the score look somewhat respectable, the Cowboys got curb stomped in their building.
Oh, I mean, yes, they did.
Just flat out embarrassing. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Joe, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, guys, I wanted to make a point. Yesterday, I was getting my last dose of Stephen A. Smith for the season. And, and Shannon Sharp brought up a good point. He said that whenever he played for the Broncos, Mike Shanahan used to break tendencies every 3 to 4 weeks. So that way, they always kept the upper hand on opposing teams. And he says what he's seeing with the Cowboys is that whatever their tendencies, stemming from formations or personnel groups at the start of the season, that's what they finish the season with. And so when they get into the playoffs, their opposing team already knows what they're fixing to do. And that's exactly what you saw Sunday and what you saw against San Francisco the last 2 years. They knew exactly what they were going to do.
Well,
and
I mean, you don't want to be predictable, and they certainly have been. I'm more curious, Joe. What kind of drink are you making right now?
Oh gosh, it was just one of those sparkling ice waters.
That's disappointing.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
You put a little
542. I thought you were
Yeah.
you were making something a little bit better to help numb the pain of the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, Floyd, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Yeah, look, a blind man can see what's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys. It's Dak Prescott. First of all, he's not a number 1 draft pick. He's a 4th round or 5th round. I think he's 4th round.
Yeah, he's 4th round.
Draft pick. And he's playing like that. He's playing like he is. And I don't know. It's not the coach. He calls a good game, and it's not the defensive coach. He's an excellent defensive coach. He used to coach the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, he did make he did have a problem in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't blame him for that. I mean, they just got outplayed by a superior quarterback, Tom Brady. Dak Prescott
by
is
the
not
way,
Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
He's not Aaron Rodgers.
A 6th-round pick, Tom Brady.
Okay, he was the exception and not the rule.
Okay.
I mean, Dak Prescott is not Tom Brady. He's not Aaron Rodgers.
No.
He's not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
But he's trying to act like he is. He's not. He is what he is. He's a 4th round draft pick quarterback. And until the Cowboys make the decision not to pay him a lot of money and move him on down the road, he's not a young man anymore either. They got a young guy. Give a young guy that they got from San Francisco. Give him a shot at it.
Oh, good Lord. Floyd, I'm with you at this point. Anybody but Dak, right? I don't know that Trey Lance is the answer. He was never even elevated to 2nd string all year. Dak Prescott, for a 4th-round pick, has exceeded all expectations. You look at the number of 1st-round picks.
Except in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, you look at all the 1st-round picks that have been bigger disappointments than Dak Prescott.
Yes.
He's exceeded expectations. He doesn't have any playoff success, and that's the problem. That's where I've come up with the term playoff Prescott, not a compliment. Great regular season quarterback, doesn't get it done in the postseason. Has proven it time and again. But living in the real world in which I live, where you can't just get rid of your quarterback. It's not fantasy football where you could cut him or trade him because he has a no trade clause and he has he can't be tagged again. With a $60 million cap hit next year, the Cowboys, from a business side of things, the only way to lower that cap hit number is to give him a contract extension. And the contract extension is going to be for the going rate of starting quarterbacks in the NFL. North of $50 million a year. It's insane. It makes me want to throw up, but that's what is going to happen. Do I want it to happen? No. But Dak Prescott holds all the leverage in these contract negotiations. If we want to live in a fantasy world,
Jerry.
If you want to live in a fantasy world, the idea of trading Dak Prescott, assuming he waives his no trade clause.
He's not going to do that.
I'm living in a fantasy world because you keep saying you got to get rid of him. So how do we get rid of him? All right, in Dreamland, find a team that's going to draft in the top 5 that would like to take Dak Prescott and his $60 million cap hit for 1 year for one of those top draft picks. Right? Can we find a partner like that?
I don't think so. And I don't think that Dak would go for it unless it's, I don't know, San Francisco maybe, or
well, they're not going to have a top 5 pick. That's what
I'm saying. So why would Dak want to go to Chicago
or
New England or none of those teams?
I mean, but when you look, I mean, that's the only way you're getting rid of Dak Prescott.
Look, I agree. Here's what I want to see though, and this should have happened 2 or 3 years ago. Cowboys have got to, if Trey Lance is not the guy, and I don't think that he is, you got to draft somebody. You got to start thinking about the future.
Well,
and get somebody in place, not named Cooper Rush, that could actually might develop into a quarterback, a lot like Jordan Love did under Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. Houston, they don't for 2 more years.
Well, you need to.
Well, no, because again, the business side of things, if you've got Dak for 5 more years, if he gets a 5-year extension, which is likely, and that's typically what the Cowboys do, so they could spread out those bonuses over time.
It's a little more team friendly than this one is.
Dak has not shown he's willing to do team friendly deals.
I'm not talking about money wise, but I'm talking about where the way this one is, it just takes so damn long to get rid of him without taking a big hit.
And again, and I don't know if Dak is willing to do that, but the Cowboys typically do long contracts like that to spread things out. So if that's the case, in 2 years, you draft the quarterback that's going to replace him, because next year you need that pick to hopefully draft somebody that would have an immediate impact. This year, their 2 top picks, Mozzie Smith and Schoonmaker, your 2 Michigan men, not immediate impact players. Not at all. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. About this time every Tuesday, we do our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. They're online at TSAOG.com. Dr. David Espinosa joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. I guess there's no way, Doc, to surgically repair Dak's contract or the mental, so we'll talk injuries. A Texas team that is still in the playoffs, dealing with a lot of injuries, and they suffered a big one in their win over Cleveland. Wide receiver Noah Brown, the former Cowboy, goes on IR with a shoulder injury. Tough break for the Houston Texans going into this postseason. It's weird when you saw the injury, you were like, I didn't look at that and think that was going to be a season ender, maybe a game ender.
Yeah, and also kind of noting that he went under that IR list for both back and shoulder. So, when the back kind of gets involved, there could be some affiliation with nerves or what we call radiating pain that shoots towards the shoulder as well. So it could be a combination of factors that landed him there on IR. But either way, a tough break for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough break for the Houston Texans. That guy, he just plays well wherever he seems to go, so that's good. Ja Morant, Doc, had successful surgery on his shoulder, and we've been talking a little bit about this, that sometimes that requires surgery, sometimes it doesn't, that particular injury. What makes it require surgery versus not?
Yeah, so in his scenario, really kind of boils down to whether or not he's able to perform at that level that he needs to, right? A lot of people can have injuries similar to that where, like you mentioned, don't need the surgery and then they're able to kind of rehab it and stabilize that shoulder. But if they're doing that and it's still bugging them, still unable to again perform at the level they need to, then they kind of hang it up and say, hey, let's do the surgery.
And again, I know that's what they did there in staying with shoulders. I mean, the idea that with the Cowboys season over, pitchers and catchers report in 30 days, right?
Is that what you're looking at?
Well, I mean, but
that, or we watch them shoot the puck around on hockey.
Well, I mean, I'm a big hockey guy. It's there, but I'm looking at the Astros already dealing with some injuries to the rotation. Kendall Graveman, and he's got a shoulder issue, right shoulder issue, and they've already said, while he's been dealing with it, and he had progressed to flat ground throwing this offseason, but his shoulder injury is resurfaced. And now they're saying he's going to miss the entire 2024 season. The guy won't be ready until 25. Now he's 33. Normally, when I see surgery like this, especially this time of year, if you're going to miss a year, it's Tommy John. This isn't Tommy John. What is going on with his shoulder that they can't get it right by, 6-7 months from now, or he wouldn't even be available for a playoff run?
Yeah, so in this scenario, with the labrum being torn the way it is, there's also likely some other structural damage that they're referring to. Now, whether or not it's an unstable shoulder, which keeps causing the labrum to become an issue, sometimes they'll go in and kind of tighten up some of the surrounding ligaments of the shoulder. But either way, they're going for a full-on repair at this point. And in those scenarios, typically just with a labral repair, not even considering other things that they're repairing, you're talking 6 months, then followed by a typical return to throwing program. So if you tack on some other stuff that they're going to try to do to potentially stabilize it, that's probably what they're referring to as, requiring just longer time frame to get him back and up to speed.
All right, Doc, I want to ask because I don't know what this is. Jimmy Butler's come back, and he had a right toe MP joint sprain. What is a right toe MP joint sprain?
MP. So they're referring to the toe, obviously, right? But the M typically stands for metatarsal, and the P tends to stand for phalangeal. So basically, it's where the toe kind of meets the foot. So if you know anybody with a bunion, that's the joint that we're kind of talking to, where the toe kind of starts pointing different directions there. But typically it's that joint. And obviously for a ball player, you really generate a lot of power when you're pushing off on your foot and on that toe. So that can be fairly painful, even with generalized walking, much less, trying to dunk or something.
And a lot easier to say MP than whatever it is you actually said, metatarsal or whatever.
Shortens it down a bit.
Yeah.
Shortens it down. Yeah.
So you got an MP sprain. What?
Yeah, they gotta sound good when they're throwing those words out.
I'm an Army brat. I hear MP and I think trouble. It sounds like trouble.
Well,
it would be. It is trouble. Good. Yeah, it really is. Dr. David Espinosa, always appreciate the time and the insight, my friend.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great one. Stay
Appreciate
warm.
it.
Thanks.
Yeah, the injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. Tim Dillon is coming to the Aztec Theater. He's a comedian. January 25th. We've got tickets.
Is he funny?
He's a comedian.
Well, that means he's funny.
He's on tour playing the Aztec.
All right, then.
He can't be unfunny because you can buy tickets to from livenation.com.
He's funny as hell.
I have no idea. Somebody finds him funny.
Yes.
If you find him funny, or if you want to go find out if you find him funny with free tickets, be caller number 9 right now, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776, caller number 9. You're going to go see Tim Dillon at the Aztec Theater on the 25th, 210-656-3776. Well, this was fun.
Absolutely, it's fun, and I have a feeling it's only just begun.
It wasn't fun.
As we continue on the same path that we've been on for the last 28 years when it comes this time of year.
We're going to fix the Dallas Cowboys.
We are?
That is our job here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I try, but nobody listens to me.
Well, because you've got bad ideas.
No.
So we're going to come up with better ideas in the days ahead. First, though, we got to get through the stages of grief. We'll take the next step tomorrow, starting at 2. James Pledger will have all your Texans talk in the next hour on Extra Innings with Pledge because, well, they are still playing in the playoffs. And, NBA season certainly here. Playoffs this coming weekend that don't include the Dallas Cowboys. You want to add excitement to those games? Go download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to the website, underdogfantasy.com. I love playing the pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your entry. And all you have to do is select whether you think the player is going to be higher or lower on their predicted stats. And if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in a single game. It is fantasy, but you can win real cash money, and it is legal in Texas. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to the website, underdogfantasy.com. Sign up using my promo code STAR, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a special pick of over half a total yard to use on your first pick-em entry, which is great for the weekend playoff games. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Promo code STAR at underdogfantasy.com.